Leche. 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 Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty up the crack and we stacking chips, all of it's what I want. Plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone. I prefer elevated pub sports radio. Time to get educated, get produced, leave the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call a truce. They getting slaughtered. Can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat. That's a lethal weapon 'cause we be pubbing.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Thursday, June 15th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. NHL and NBA gone, but we have a jam-packed show. We start with CFL, get into MLB, and then we have Billy Brisbane joining us for WNBA. We will start capping WNBA here on the show as NHL and NBA are by the wayside. It was just a horrific roller coaster ride yesterday. Horrific. I ended up 4-5, down 0.95 units, but it started off atrocious. The ad of Milwaukee, Minnesota first 5 under 4.5 was awful. And then, going through my action, Washington first 3, Washington first 5 plus a half were, bad. Then the Jays first 5 pushed, which was disappointing. Kansas City first 3 pushed. They had runners on third and second with a tie game and no out. And they couldn't get me one run. And it looked like things were going to be horrific after I added on the Tigers game 2, first 3. If I'd have just done first 5, it would have been a push. I have a winning day. But Miami, Seattle, expecting this spectacular pitching duel between Yuri Perez was everything I could have asked for. It was so much fun to watch. Yuri Perez was absolutely spectacular. We have the best 2 Dominican pitchers, arguably, in the league. The young and the old going up against each other. So first 3 under 1.5 cashed, plus 125. First 5 under 3.5 cashed. But I should have pulled the trigger on Ragu's look on that first 5 Marlins plus a half. I mean, he got plus 102, I believe, on it. I should have done that. So those were cash. Philadelphia, Arizona, first 5 under cashed. Suarez's numbers, and so we've had back-to-back Philly pitchers where their road numbers don't make any sense, and Suarez was excellent. Cashed that first 5 under 4.5 very easily. We cashed San Diego -1 and -111 very easily. And so before these games popped off, I was worried about my Tampa Oakland first 5 under 4.5, and I was like, do I add San Diego first 5 minus a half because I think I can pull out a winning day here? And I was like, no, you're reaching. Just you have the -1, sit back. If I had done that, I would have had a winning day. There were so many possibilities to have a winning day, but 4-5 down 0.95 units, frustrating. But I feel completely locked in. I'm so ready to rock on this card. I've spent so much time on this card, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity to cap with you guys. This is an honor. To have this opportunity. And I want to take advantage of it. I want to take it to the fucking bank. I want to stack. That's what I plan to do here today. Shout out to Viper NB in the house. He's on Baltimore first 5 minus half, Texas -1, and Tampa Bay, Oakland under 9. I've got 5 bets already in MLB. I got 3 in CFL. And I'm pumped. I'm pumped up. Vipers also on the Dodgers team total over 4.5. I got huge plus lines. I got hugely exciting spots that I'm going to be attacking here. And I can't wait to even talk about this CFL game. If I hadn't have added in the Edmonton-Saskatchewan action, I'd be winning in CFL this year. I added that in. The cap on Friday got me into it. I wish it hadn't. I wasn't planning on it. But there was one game I was really confident on, and that was that Ottawa-Montreal game. I went 3-0 in that game. And I know we're in week 2, but I feel like I know these 2 football teams, the Redblacks and Stampeders, pretty well. And we're going to put it to the test here with our action. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today is in Baltimore -1 at plus 108. There's Andrew G, who cashed up Boston, Colorado under 10.5. I'm really looking forward to cap the card with Jose today. We've all been watching him climb after a really, really tough start. And I thought that his double down on the Boston, Colorado under was very strong capping. there. Goes against him. He shows no fear. He comes in again. Really, really strong capping. And that should have been a no sweater. Unfortunately, the bullpens created a bit of a sweat for him. But I love seeing him cash out. There's Justin McElvey ready to get to work. Marco Carrasco. New Cougar says, good morning, game. I'm liking Ottawa plus 6.5 tonight in CFL. Should I wait to see if it goes to 7? I cannot wait to break that game down. We got LJ from H-Town. He's on Astros first 5, Cubs money line, and Dodgers minus 1.5. It's funny, all these spots that we've seen from everybody thus far, and I know we've seen for 3 cappers dropping their action, but I'm on a different action than you guys, which is wild. So we got lots to talk about. There's Jay Smooth ready to get to work. Justin McElvey lining up with Ron Crawford. When this happens, they are very good together. We have the corner of Spreadsheet and Stacks Avenue, and he's on the Orioles team total over 4.5, while Ron Crawford is on the Spreadsheet play there. There's razor sharp picks in the house. Mike M, Spenny Penny Bombs, Joey Marinaccio, Troy Torrance, Billy Friedrich. Wine Time says coming off a 2 and 3 day, looking to turn that around today. Vaughn Polo here. Vaughn Polo saying having a bad day mentally. It happens to all of us. And we just come here and we cap together and it shakes us out of it. So I'm so sorry to hear that you're going through that, Vaughn Polo. I know you got so much on your plate with that beautiful young family and another one on the way. And these days, they just happen, man. They happen. And being a young father, taking care of your family is a gargantuan task that you've handled so well. So, these things happen, man. We've all been there. We're all there. Let's cap. Let's fucking cap, man. Let's cap. There's Jay Rowe, Serious Business, True A Lot, 4th and 1 Entertainment. Thank you, Jay Rowe, saying loving the shirt. Man, I moved to Hollywood, California too early. Stupid. I didn't know. It was just stupid. There was no reason for me to move down there. Everything was fine in Vancouver acting. I wasn't a star. There was no reason for me to move, but that's another story. But I moved to LA in 2003, and this was the first thing I bought, man. Around Sunset Boulevard, I brought this shirt, and I've kept it with me now for 20 years. This motherfucker, 20 years I've had this shirt running with me. There is TJ in the house. Our guy Nate Dog 420. Andrew G. TJ says KC is bad. Saturated says, how about that Cubbies rally? They act like they won the World Series. Spenny Penny Bomb says, annoying Springer hit the homer in the 6th. Yeah. You know what? Jose Barrios is pitching so well. He's getting lefties out. We are going to keep cashing. I know it. We showed last year what we can do in baseball over an entire season, and I know that we're going to heat up right now. Let's go. Mike M says it's my fault you lost that first 3. No, it's not. It's not at all. Don't worry, Mike. It's definitely not. You're a spectacular capper. You brought so much cash to all of us. Real Deal Prime, Curtis Berry, ready to get to work here. We got a big show. I'm really excited about today's show. I'm really excited about capping this card. I'm really excited about starting with CFL. There's 10 MLB games. I'm looking forward to capping with Jose and you guys in the chat. I'm pumped up. There is Top Set saying, remember, Twins will get hot. He's on them again at minus 01. And look at this. Stick around. There's a gift from our guy, TJ. Danielson, there's Clint Starr, the diehard MMA podcast. Marvin Vittori this weekend. Well, I am interested. I'm very interested in that. Copy and paste that. Thank you for sharing that. Clint, my guy. All right. Marcos Carrasco says Ottawa plus the points. I think a lot of us are on the same page here. Marco Lou said, did you hear about the Lions player that collapsed at practice? I did not, Marco. I don't know how I didn't. Studying CFL all morning. Mike M says, what we're seeing is anytime the line moves a full run, you play the other side now 2-0 the past 2 days. There's our guy, Guillermo Zertucci. I hope you guys, some of you guys saw that his son, Eli Zertucci, the captain of the Arcadian football team, graduated just a few days ago at Santa Anita. And Eli's just such a good guy, man. Such a good man. Can't wait to see what he does in the future. So many of the cappers that we cap with are raising kids and leading by example. And that's a big part of it. big part of it. Billy Friedrich says CSET plus money tonight. Yes, I'm very close to moving on CSET. I've already moved on the first 505. Very close. Troy Torrance says Orioles also the strongest play from the market efficiency database. Well, that's good that I didn't move on the other side. I'm not on that. Akbar Saluev ready to go. TJ saying, is anyone else using Bro Throw yet? Let me copy and paste that to make sure that I'm messing with that. Here we go. Get that copied and pasted. All right. There is Terry says, everyone and their mother on the Orioles today. I am not. Andrew G says, after the show, I'm heading to make a few bets, but I need to soak up this info. A smart better is an informed better. There's Rocco Rogers in the house. Says, solid day. Complete whiff on the Dodgers game, though. Let's get back to work today. One of my favorites, Braves, Rockies, over 9 at plus 100. Wine Time says, Ohtani is a dog today. He's locked in on the Rangers, money line. Joey Harb says, had an awful week, overs kicking my ass. Yeah, I've been told by many people to stop betting unders. Yesterday, I guess not as good as I thought. I thought I was going to be proud of it, but my unders were what? Just 3 and 2. But one was a plus 125, but I thought that was going to make me feel better. Okay. Joey Harb, Sanka, Valpolo. We got a great group ready to rock and roll. There's Jacqueline rocking with us. Great to have Sanka and Jacqueline. Great to have strong female cappers running with us. Hopefully Red Girl joins us soon. Let's go Wild Picks. Terry, thank you for running with us. And TJ says group just moved on Toronto, 7-cent move. That doesn't surprise me. JP just says Christian Walker home run was glorious. Shout out to Miggity Mac. Mike M, LA Dodgers Nerfy. They said I was crazy. We didn't. Stimmy OG, love capping with you. Saturated says Vancouver can't contain Frankie Cheeks. I did book Final Destination 3 in LA, so it wasn't like all a waste, but it was. I didn't need to be down there. Max Powers in the house. There's Nasty Nate. Browns, Hughes says Toronto and the over. Nate Dog liking Kikuchi over 5.5 Ks. Atlanta -1. Leading Eovaldi over 6.5 Ks. All right, let's get to work. We start in the Canadian Football League. 5 and 6 is not what I. Oh, sorry. Let's just see. Okay. Thank you, Jose. I didn't know that. Let's start with the CFL today. And look, 5 and 6 down 1.9 units, not acceptable. But the spots, there have been some spots that I've destroyed and nailed. I just shouldn't have tailed that Edmonton Saskatchewan game. I had bets on all the others, and I was like, I don't know what to do in this game. And then, that's what happens sometimes. You want to have action on all these football games. You're starving for football before college and NFL pops off, and that's sort of what happened here. Let's Go Wild is on Calgary, Ottawa under 43.5. I am also on that bet. Let's break down. I have 3 bets here, and I can't wait. Razor Sharp is on the over 43.5, and that is a very nerve-wracking when you're on the other side of Razor. This total was opened very, very low. But let's discuss this. Okay, Calgary Stampeders at the Ottawa Redblacks. Both teams were hideous in week 1. We're at TD Place in Ottawa, Ontario. What we should discuss right off the hop, and I don't have it written, is the weather this evening in Ottawa. Not very warm, but pretty nice. At kickoff, we're going to have a 72 Fahrenheit, wind 5 miles per hour. Nothing much going on there. Joey Marinaccio liking the under here as well. The Stamps lost at home 25-15 to the BC Lions. I watched the entire game. I didn't get to watch the Redblacks Alouettes game. We were doing horses. We had our horse show at the time, so I didn't get to watch that. But I watched the Stamps Lions game. Jake Mayer was horrific. He looked slow. He completed 19 of 35 passes for 160 yards and a touchdown while also throwing a pick. Yes, I think the Lions defense is going to be good this year, but he made the Lions defense look spectacular. The run game was nowhere to be found. Kadeem Carey ran for 42 rush yards and Peyton Logan ran for 34. Kadeem Carey is hurt. So the star running back, arguably the top running back in the league for the Stamps, is hurt and won't be in the lineup. And Peyton Logan will have to deliver the goods. And with the Stamps not having a passing game, that's going to be very difficult. Their offensive line was missing Zach Williams, and there was some real problems on their offensive line. Deontay Demery and Hugh Thornton looked bad. Vernon Adams Jr. Is someone that you need to put pressure on. They were unable to do that. And because they were unable to put pressure on Vernon Adams, he looked like an excellent quarterback. And I know that he's not. I've watched him his whole career. I know that Vernon Adams is not an excellent quarterback, but the Stamps Defensive line put no pressure on them. Also, nobody cared. Nobody cared about this football game. Opening game at McMahon Stadium, there were 17,942 fans there. They should be ashamed of themselves. The Stamps offense put up 251 yards, and that's being way behind in the third and fourth quarters. They were outgained 423 to 251. They had 6 points going into the final period. And now they go out on the road and they're favored by 6.5 points. One of the things here is that I don't believe the Alouettes are nearly as bad as everybody else. I think Fajardo gives them a spark. I think he's better than Harris. I think that they're moving in the right direction over there. And that was in a disagreement with most people. People were shocked that I was so confident on the Alouettes in their home opener. So speaking of the Stamps, they're also missing Natrell Jamerson, defensive back, Nick Statz as well, and linebacker Silas Stewart. None of them will be available. So let's move over here to Ottawa. They come in off this 19-12 loss at Montreal. Arbuckle was horrific, as we said he would be. We all said he was going to be terrible, and he was exactly. I love these predictable athletes. He was so bad. They scored 4 field goals in that football game. And I think there's an overreaction to how bad he was. I mean, we all expected him to be bad. He was even worse than we thought, and now there's been an overreaction in the marketplace. Was he really that much worse than Jake Mayer? Now, we saw this huge market move, and a few of them last week. One was towards the BC Lions, and I was like, this is too much. I was wrong. One was towards the Edmonton Elks. If I shouldn't have jumped in on that one. They weren't all right, and I don't think this is right. So this Redblack defense looked excellent. They sacked Fajardo 6 times. Montreal scored on their opening drive, and then there was nothing. Montreal had 4 field goals the rest of the way. Devontae Williams ran for 36 yards. Nate Baer was a game-high 5 receptions for 46 yards. I mean, those are going to be the numbers that you're going to get with Arbuckle. So we saw these teams play in August in Ottawa. Final score was 17-3. And the Stamps were outgained in that one. The Stamps put up 252 yards of offense. Redblacks just 319. We know that Mazzoli will be back at some point. He's ruled out now. So, look, I think this is an overreaction. Spenny says no one cares about the CFL unless you live in Saskatchewan. Well, what if you have money on it? Then you care. And I care. I want to make money. I have 3 bets in this spot here. I'm on the under 43.5. This has gone from 42.5 to 43.5. I'm on the Redblacks plus 6.5. This has gone from 5 to 6.5. And I'm on the Stampeders team total under 25.5. This is juiced to the over. How? The Redblacks defense looked great. So there you have it. 3 bets for me in CFL. Redblacks plus 6.5. Calgary, Ottawa under 43.5. Stampeders team total under 25.5. Now look, when I went into this game, I was like, oh, of course I'm going to be on the Redblacks team total under. But the market knows. They set it at 17.5. Do I think the Redblacks will go over 17.5? I don't know. It's a pretty sharp line. We got under 21.5 in that first game. And they put up 12 points. 17.5? You're going to cut it by 4 points? God, how with implied probability, it puts me in a dangerous spot. So I decided not to move on that. There you go. Razor Sharp Pick says the public hammering the under and the total went up. Wow. Where can you see public action in CFL? I'd love to. I've never been able to find that before. If you don't want to say it here in the here, I'd love to. I mean, I don't know where we can find public action in the CFL. Yeah, if you don't want to say that here, if you could let me know, Razor, because I can't find. I've never been able to find where the cash is in CFL. Because, the way I saw it was it opened up at 42.5, and it was just from my guess, I thought it was going to be hammered to the over. That's just everybody cashed overs nonstop last year. And so I was just guessing. But if you know that the public's hammering the under, if I'd love to be able to follow that badly. I'd love to be able to follow where the cash is in CFL. I've never been able to. All right. Let's move on. Mike M says at least they can score 1 point in the CFL drive. Yes, the Rouge. The first Rouge of the year came through, and I almost put a tweet out. I was like, am I wasting my time looking for a Rouge tweet? Okay, let's move on. And Top Crocodile says Vicent has CFL numbers. Okay, dope. I will write that down. Because in my head, in the Gambler's First Glance could easily, you never want to go up against. Oh, I don't know if it is the Gambler's First Glance, is it? Or is it just is bet over 40? So I don't know if it's Gambler's First Glance. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about the game. So Vicent has CFL cash flow. All right. Let's get to work in MLB and bring on the star of Say Hey Plays of the Day. It was a wild day for him yesterday. I follow his action quite closely. I have a lot of respect for the climb that he's being involved with coming out of the big hole he set for himself. And his action was wild yesterday. Heavily invested in the Royals game, and they're not a trustworthy group. I can imagine that it drove him absolutely crazy watching those guys put up 15 hits. Did they have 15 hits and they lost badly? Let's welcome your next guest, star of Say Hey Plays of the Day from San Antonio, Texas, young Jose Bouquett. Jose, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing all right, Jim. Can't complain. Shitty. Well, I wouldn't say shitty night. It could have been a lot worse. Shout out to the Red Sox not being able to hit. But yeah, the Royals game was just a debacle. It was so fucking annoying. So annoying that I turned it on, watched all the Reds all score those runs. I didn't even watch a second longer. I was like, okay, I'm done here. And then I looked at the final score and I saw it was 7-4, 14 hits. I was like, I'm sick. But whatever, that's fine. We'll move on. And we'll press on. I wore a hat for you. I wore my Rotama hat today, Jim. So I'm ready to go.
The audio does sound a little robotic. Doesn't sound like it usually does in the studio.
All right. Well, I'll be right back then.
Beautiful. Okay. Let's get that rolling here. Okay. Let's get. Razor says that his voice got deeper, so he's congratulating Jose. All right, let's get to work here, everybody. And we start at 1:05 p.m. Eastern. Toronto Blue Jays at Baltimore Orioles, Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. Kikuchi going up against Tyler Wells. Tyler Wells and Kikuchi here. And let's get our guy, Ron Crawford, to get us rolling here. Spreadsheet play of the day is in. And it is Baltimore -1 at +108. Shout out to our Ron Crawford. All right, let's pull up all the pertinent information. We'll start with the weather here in Camden, Charm City. Let's get to the weather here. Let's get Ballpark Pal up as well.
Any better?
No, but I think you talk for a bit.
We'll figure this out. I'll just go on my laptop here in a second.
It's okay. I mean, it's not that big, but it just doesn't sound quite like we usually have it. But let's get to work here with the weather here. Camden Yards, 79 Fahrenheit, beautiful day. 6 miles per hour out to right field, gets up to 7.6 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the expectation here in the park factors: +3% home runs, +8% singles, +4% runs, -10% doubles and triples, but +4% overall with runs. And that is the second best numbers here on the entire card. Second best offensive numbers here on the entire card. Let's go over to the line history here for this one. Oh, I guess I don't have this one up. Okay, that is fine. We're going to start with the money line. This is opening up with Baltimore -115. They're now -107. 7 cents of movement towards the Toronto Blue Jays. And it's pretty wild. At 9:39 a.m. this morning, this was -130. It was also -130 at 8:16 this morning. So up to minus 130. Since the peak at 8:23 a.m., we've seen a huge move towards the Toronto Blue Jays. 23 cents was actually 25 cents, but there was a little bit of buyback 3 minutes ago. Wow. So a huge move to the Toronto Blue Jays here, but overall just 7 cents. Fascinating. Because all I've seen is Orioles from everything that I've seen out there. Let's go over to the total in this one. This one opened up at 9, and it was juiced to the over. It was at 9 at minus 109 to the over, and then we hit 8.5 at 2:42 a.m. It stayed at 8.5 until 4:22 a.m. It's been at 9 ever since. This 9, so we have a 1 cent move to the over. So basically no movement to the over and a 7 cent move to the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's take a look at the cash flow then here for this one. We have on the total 44% of the tickets and 63% of the cash on the under. That makes me interested in it. You have 39% of the tickets and 45% of the cash on the Blue Jays. All of this is interesting, and I may want to pull the trigger. The Orioles are not good against lefties. Now, these stats all day, the stats here from me for both righties, lefties, and bullpen will be from May 15th to June 15th. So we've changed it. So it's now May 15th to June 15th. The Orioles are hitting 229 with a 673 OPS. Poor. Thank you, Jason Edwards. Thanks for running with us. There's Nut Flush Island in the house as well. And, look at that. A new nickname here from Lucas Ryan. Jose, the blood runneth over my tit, Bouquett. Wow, that sounds like he's ready for Shakespearean festival of some kind. Some sort of capping in the park performance here. But Kikuchi's last start, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks, 1 walk, and a 3-2 extra inning loss at home versus the Twins. He's pitching well, 4.34 ERA, 1.34 whip, better than we had expected. Now, he still has allowed 18 home runs in 66 in the third. On the road, he's been worse than he's been at home. There's no getting around it. A 5 ERA over 36 innings, 287 opponent's batting average. 11 of the 18 home runs have been allowed when he's been on the road, 29 strikeouts and 9 walks. Tyler Wells has been dynamite at home, and he's been excellent all year, 3.24 ERA, 0.85 whip. My goodness. But he's allowed 14 home runs. His last start, he allowed 2 earned runs in the 3-2 win at home over the Royals. He went 6 2/3. At home, he's thrown 43 in the third, and he's got a 2.49 ERA and a 188 opponent's batting average. He has allowed 14 home runs, but 9 of them have come on the road. At home, just 5 home runs allowed, 44 Ks and 6 walks. Blue Jays first righties since May 15th, 280 with a 789 OPS. And the Blue Jays bullpen has been clearly better than the Orioles bullpen in the last month, which is a surprise. Orioles bullpen, 4.06 ERA, 1.55 whip, while the Blue Jays bullpen, 3.86 ERA, 1.18 whip. Here we go. Jose Bouquett, the floor is yours. Blue Jays, Orioles.
Yeah, I bet the Orioles last night, minus 125, I believe I got. I need to double check that. But yeah, I'm on the Orioles here just like everyone else, and I was hoping to see a bigger market split, truthfully. But no. So I'm on them. Again, I wasn't confident in my my under bets on the Red Sox yesterday, and those cashed for me, so maybe I shouldn't worry so much. Tyler Wells is a pitcher I've enjoyed his whole career, I guess. I don't know. 6 2/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs last time out. Pitched well against the Blue Jays twice last year. Well, I should say once. Another one was just 2 innings for some reason. But a really good start last year. Kikuchi got crushed against them last year. But is it a new Kikuchi? As always, we think about it. I'm thinking that the Orioles hit here 7th against lefties this year against lefties. Like I said, 114 weighted runs created plus in the last 2 weeks. Only 46 at plate appearances, so not big sample size. So I kind of throw it out. So I'm gonna focus on the full season. They're 107 last 2 weeks, so it's not even bad. But yeah, I like the Orioles here to win the game, just simply enough.
Interesting. And the market is quite interesting in this one as well.
Yeah, again, I was hoping the market would be more favorable to me, and definitely not. So,
yeah, this huge move should be a concern. I agree. This first 5 total opened under 5 minus 109. It's been all over the map. This got down to 4.5 at 219 this morning. Came back up to 5 at 919. And this under 5, at 9:30 this morning was minus 119. So now it's minus 105. Now we've had a 4-cent move to the over. This is all pretty confusing. TJ says bet Toronto right before the show. This is a nice spot with everyone in Baltimore and the books welcoming the money. Yeah, this is absolutely wild. Wow, what interesting market moves. Let's give a shout out to our razor sharp picks. Gambler's first glance is in, and it is your Toronto Blue Jays. Troy Torrance says the books were completely scared of the O's money until an hour ago. Yeah, that's also true. Joe Yurkovich says Orioles 17-7 after loss number 1. Wow. Well, I am interested in the under 5. It's interesting here that what we've had in the last hour is this, huge move to the over, or last 2 hours, and a huge move to the Blue Jays. And I guess what that should do is just keep me off of it. I guess that's what it should do. You have all these people very confident on Baltimore, others on the Jays. Troy Torrance's database says under. Wow. Joe Yerger says Toronto's a public team, big name bets. Orioles still underrated. That's valid. Troy Torrance's database says under. I guess I'm going to have to stay off of it.
Yeah, and I don't like this card today, truthfully. I'm trying to, rein it back because I feel like the last 2 days I've been more focused on trying to get to the black than making good bets. So I'm trying to reel it back a little bit here and figure it out. I don't love my Orioles bet, but I made it last night and I'm going to stick with it. So,
yeah, no, I get it. If I had a free bet right now, I would certainly be on the Jays and the first 5 under. But I don't know if I can do that. Yes, we do have lineups out. People asking about it. For the Jays, we have Springer, Bichette, Varsho, Guerrero, Merrifield, Chapman, Kiermaier, and Danny Jansen's return from the IL. Kevin Biggio batting 9th, turning the lineup over. For the Orioles, Hayes, Richmond, Santander, Henderson, Urias, McCann, Mateo, Ortiz, and McKenna. Wow. So, what else could be the reason for the move? That's the question. So, we know that Mountcastle was put on the IL before the series started, so it's not that he's not in the lineup. Okay, I'm going to have to move on. Here. TJ says Kikuchi balls out today. Smoke and Mirrors took first 5 and full game Orioles. Wow. Okay, so we have a lot of action in. Jose, you tweeted this out. What did you get on the Orioles?
minus 125, same thing that's available now.
Orioles at minus 125. It's moving in the Jays direction quickly. It's those you can get quite a bit better than that minus 125.
Well, it's gonna be a shitty watch.
Okay.
It's gonna be a shitty watch. Can't wait.
Okay, let's move on.
You should have known never to go against Kikuchi. Shout out to Dennis Garcia.
Let's move on. 3:37 p.m. Eastern. Tampa Bay Rays 49-22, 18-15 on the road to the Oakland A's. 19. Oh, geez, that's not right. 19-50, right? Or 51? I don't have the last number there.
Yeah, they lost last night.
Yeah, 1951. Not all these numbers are off. Okay, there. And 9-25 at home. That's what it was. Okay, there we go. We're in Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California. Let's get over to our line history here. I got too many things opened up. I gotta cut some.
Shocking. Oh my gosh. You've got the notes from last May up there still, I'm sure.
Let's get some of this stuff off here. Yeah.
Well, while you do that, I'll just say this. We all know who this guy is for Oakland. Paulie Punch-Outs, Paul Blackburn, the king of the first 5 innings from last year. After his first start and him cashing, I've been betting it every time now, and I'm back to it here again. And it's had good results, sometimes heartbreaking. Shout out to Garrett Cooper, but A's first 5 money line, A's first 5 plus a half. I couldn't bet it last night because the markets weren't available, so I'm going to see it what it is now. I'm going to bet it.
Well, I have correlating action. I'm on the A's first 3 at plus 155. Let's discuss the spot. First, we'll do the weather. Again, this is an early start out west, 12:37 p.m. in Oakland, 3:37 p.m. out here. 67 Fahrenheit, 6.5 miles per hour, and then 8.9 a little later. And there's the gift. It is Oakland. The gift. So we are all on Oakland here.
And of course, I mean, yesterday was the obvious spot where they were going to lose, after that big emotional dump,
Very interesting.
Though.
Okay, so Jose, I will go over all of that, and I was looking for a live stream for Jose in the in that game. Mr. Heat says, "Is the wind blowing out?" I tell you, Mr. Heat, it doesn't matter. But yes, and I mean it. It doesn't matter in this ballpark. It's just sort of like Oracle. The wind's swirling. They're huge outfields. It doesn't matter. And you always get that idea when you go over to Ballpark Pal, because even with the wind blowing out the way it is, this is minus 9% home runs, minus 7% runs, minus 3% in doubles and triples. So that's something to keep an eye out for here. TJ says, if you have to take full game over first 5, I don't. He says you have to take full game. He says, don't look at season-long bullpen. Oakland's is pitching lately, and it's contagious. Yes, we're going to go over all of those numbers. I agree with that, TJ. I just wanted a first 3 personally because I want to cut down the game as much as possible.
Get in and out.
And so let's discuss it. We're going to go over to the line history here, and then we'll go into the cash flow. I got these up too. Let me get this off here. Okay, we go. All right, let's go into the cash flow for this spot. We have the first off, for the first 5 total, as I've got that up right now, there's been no movement. There was some movement last night towards the over, and it's come all the way back. So there's been no movement there. We'll go to the full game movement here at Pinnacle. This opened up at 8.5 at some books. It opened up at 8.5 at Pinnacle, slightly juiced to the over, and it lasted there for about 3 hours before it moved to 9. It only lasted at 9 for 30 minutes before it went back to 8.5, bouncing back and forth from 8.5 and 9. At this point, we have a half-run move to the over, and from a money line perspective, let's get this up here. We have the Rays opening up at minus 186. Right now, they're minus 191. So there's been 5 cents of movement to the Rays and a half-run move to the over. You have 13% of the tickets and 67% of the cash on the Oakland A's right now. From a total perspective, you have 54% of tickets and 73% of cash on the under, and it's gone up a half-run. So this is tricky. It's a tricky spot. You have Taj Bradley. The funny thing about Taj this year, we know he's got an enormous upside and heavy potential, is that he has been very good on the road unexpectedly. He's only thrown 21 innings, so the sample size is small, but 1.71 ERA, 27 strikeouts in those 21 innings, 7 walks. He's only allowed 1 jack, 200 opponents batting average. He's coming off an ugly start at home against the Rangers, 3 2/3, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned. He's got 4.19 ERA and 1.27 whip on the year, 52 strikeouts in just 38 2/3 innings. Paul Blackburn, Jose said it off the top. If you were backing him on first 5 last year, you made a shitload of money. He's coming off his 3rd start, his best start, 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 5 Ks, 1 walk, and a 2-1 extra inning win at the Brewers. The Rays aren't hitting righties since May 15th, 238, 713 OPS. The A's are hitting 217, 626. And the big surprise is in the last month, the A's bullpen's been better than the Rays bullpen. So let's hear we've heard how Jose is moving on it. Jose, do you want to add anything while I line shot for you?
Sure. I do last 2 weeks for bullpens. I guess a little different. Rays right now, 6th best ERA, 291, 386 FIP, 460 xFIP, which is actually very interesting. Oakland, shockingly enough, not as bad. 13th, 375 ERA, 359 FIP with a 488 xFIP. So, I still don't trust the Oakland A's full game, admittedly. I'm just not going to do that. I'll keep the ball in the hands of my guy, Paul Blackburn, and let him ride. So shout out to him. And obviously, we know the A's offense has been pretty good. Just, I guess, top 5 in baseball, like you could say it, against righties this month. 121 weighted runs created plus. Bradley, and I mean, we all kind of figured he was going to struggle last time, right? Because the Rangers, one of the best offenses in baseball. So, I just believe in Paul Blackburn here. I'm going to continue making these bets throughout the year, and hopefully he can ascend to his throne again as the king of the first 5.
Yeah, and it's a good point made here by our guy Billy, saying that Blackburn's home ERA was so bad, and Norfolk Channel saying Blackburn will be pitching for a trade, but Oakland's offensive lineup is not good. DX5 says, I get the Blackburn love, but this feels like another Tampa spot they should roll. I think we should go over, what we saw from Blackburn last year, at home, because it is important. I mean, we know that the numbers were atrocious, but what happened was that he fell apart before he got hurt. So he was obviously dealing with something, and then they shut him down. So if you look at his home, like his last 2 home starts here, he threw 8 1/3 and allowed 16 runs. If you add the last 3 starts, he threw 12 and allowed 23 earned runs. And if you keep going, but if you include even June, I mean, like he was just getting lit up at home. But if you go back earlier, like when we were making money off the first 5, I mean, look at those first starts. He did not allow more than 3 earned runs in the start in his first 9 starts of last year. So I just think that's an important point. Billy makes an important point, but I think that we can find some clarification as well from my side of the things, which is why I want it. TJ says the tickets cash tell the story here, plus 1.5 at plus money. Okay.
That, by the way, all those late season beatdowns he took, all of them were in division too. In division where the batters have seen him a bunch at that point already. So
then he was shut down. There had to be something wrong.
Yeah, so I agree with you guys.
Okay, Jose, what did you move, or what? And you haven't tweeted out, so we can line chop. What did you move on?
First 5 money line and first 5 plus 0.5. Just because I've been scarred by this A's team.
The best line I can find here is plus 170, but I would like to bring up. I'd like to have Pinnacle side up here because sometimes I can't get the information. So let's see if Pinnacle will beat that plus 170 first 5, and we'll take a look at what they're offering for the first 5 plus 0.5. This is game 2 on our MLB schedule. So let's move this open here. And first 5, we can get. So wow, it's down to plus 156. So Bet Chris giving you 14 cents better. That's telling. And then that first 5 plus 0.5 is just plus 106. That's hugely telling.
Our friends at Bet Online have plus 0.5 at 110.
Oh yeah, we can definitely beat that plus 106. There's no doubt about it. They're respecting this spot here. We can maybe we can't. Oh yeah, plus 111 at Bet Chris, and that's what we will do. Okay, so let's lock you in. So we have a plus A's first 5 at plus 170, and A's first 5 plus 0.5 at a plus 110. I thought about those spots. I thought my best opportunity was first 3 at plus 155 here. Domigan reaches says Bradley's the exact image of Glasnow and release points, etc. Said I talked about last game versus Texas. Theory's advantage to a team batting against Bradley when he follows Glasnow. Wow, that's a different take. I love that take.
By the way, real quick, I was just going to mention that if you guys do need a book, go to Pub Sports Radio's website, sign up today. You get the deposit match, the whole thing. I just dropped the link in the chat. Perfect. Website, so go drop that.
Yeah, the deal that they gave us is 100% up to $1,000 for new accounts. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Dommy Gunn is on the Oakland team total over 3.5. So is DT. Wow, this is.
I really don't know if I could take some team totals after how they've been treating me recently.
Oh, and we have a plus 113 for you on that. There's a gas report. I see gas report back in action. All right. And Mike M says Tampa's in 19-4 spot going back to 2018. I just need 3. Now, I looked hard at what my best betting options were on this one, and I looked at the first 3 plus 0.5, but it was minus 120. And I'm on another huge first 3 money line, and that one on plus 0.5 was minus 105. And look, It's a risk reward type thing. I want to go for a score here, and that's what I'm doing. Roger that in the house. Piker says Arizona, Cleveland, and the White Sox are all winning today. Let's roll on. So Jose's got.
You're right. That's what I was just saying. Paul Trippy's right. I bet the A's on the fucking boycott day, and I bet team totals instead of money lines like a fucking donkey. So that's why I don't like team totals currently. And I took the Orioles team total yesterday and fucking lost. So I'm a little sour on them currently.
I feel you. Jose's got the A's first 5 and first 5 plus half. I'm on the A's first 3, and the gift from TJ is Oakland plus 1.5. All right, let's roll on. Joe Yergevich says, "Isn't the gift an auto bet?" It should be. Now I've already involved in that game, so I sort of have correlating action. But yeah. I get it.
Yeah, I didn't want to triple up on the Oakland A's. I already did that with the fucking Royals yesterday, so no thanks.
Next up for us, 3:40 p.m. Eastern, we've had back-to-back days where we've had Philadelphia Philly pitchers where I thought their stats didn't make sense. I thought Suarez was better than his numbers indicated. I thought Zach Wheeler was better than the numbers indicated, especially on the road, and they both followed suit. That is not the case here with Aaron Nola. I cannot put that together here. I've not put that together here. Let's talk about Chase Field, Phoenix, Arizona. First off, we know the roof is closed. It has switched before when I've been certain of it being closed. So I'm just going to keep just doing at least the due diligence to click a couple buttons so that I'm not like livid watching the game. But yes, it is closed, and it's closed all week. So it's hot now. It's the summer. It's almost summer. It's we're a week away from less than a week away from summer. So it's just going to be closed almost all the time now. So it's closed for the rest of the week. Let's go into the line history here for this one. And I find Ryan Nelson a very difficult pitcher to cap. I think Nola is also quite tricky, in all honesty. This total opened up at 9.5. So it opened up 9.5 and the lasted there for 26 minutes. That's a pretty legit move to the 9. The 9's at a pick 'em right now. So we have a half-run move to the under. Let's take a look at the money line here for it. The money. Oh, sorry. I've got first 5s up in the run lines because we were line shopping for Jose. Let's just get back to full game money line here. And we have these Phillies opening up at Pinnacle at minus 121. They're now minus 128. So we have a 7-cent move to the Phillies and a half-run move to the under. Most books have been at 9 and didn't open at 9, says TJ. Which is important, very, very important info. I want to know, you guys know, I want to know what, Pinnacle did. And I also, want to know what Bet Online did. And this is pretty interesting stuff because Bet Online opened it. And I'm happy that TJ mentioned this. Bet Online opened this at 2:09 p.m. at 9. And then 32 minutes after that, they moved it to 9.5. They kept it at 9.5 until 8:51 p.m. So there was an opposite there. So since the opener, though, we've had a 7-cent move to the under 9 there. So we've at least legitimately had moves to the under at those two books that put out the line first, which is what I want to know. Let's take a look at the cash flow then for this spot. 58% of the tickets and 52% of the cash on the over. And from a money line perspective, 43% of the tickets and 66% of the cash on Arizona. You have Ryan Nelson battling for a rotation spot here. He's in competition for it right now, and he's coming off his first really strong start. Now it was at Detroit against the weak hitting Tigers, but he went 5 2/3, 4 Ks, 2 walks, and he's been very good at home. 3.09 ERA in 32 innings, 241 opponent's batting average. He's allowed 3 home runs in those 32 innings. His K to walk ratio is never going to be spectacular, but that's the situation. Aaron Nola has struggled on the road. He lets big hits, 8 home runs allowed on the road this year. I mean, they're only hitting 237 against him, but there's some monster hits, and he's also not getting strikeouts whenever he wants. 40 strikeouts in 49 innings. He's coming off getting lit up at home by the Dodgers. He's just, isn't that good anymore. I would say, how old is he? He's only 30. He shouldn't be bad. Phillies versus righties since May 15th, 257.33 OPS. The Diamondbacks, 251.770. Phillies bullpen, 4.05 ERA, 1.38 whip. Diamondbacks bullpen's been pretty good in the last month, 3.69 ERA, 1.40 whip. Mally Mal says Nola will dish today. DT says Nola is the better Phillies pitcher, and Phillies have been hitting great. Philly money line. Tommy Gun Regis says Nola's getting better. He one of the vet pitchers that have had a hard time with the rule changes. You can see most of them getting better as they have started more. TJ says I think both pitchers are a fade. Nelson off a great start versus a bad team. Nelson versus left-handed hitters is terrible, and Phillies send 5 lefties to the plate regularly. Troy Torrance says reverse line movement to the road team. Take it away for us here, Jose. Wipe my tits, Bouquett. Phillies Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I couldn't get there. I've been having issues with this series all 3 games. I didn't bet it or haven't bet it, but if I did bet it, I would have bet the Diamondbacks. Would have lost all those games. So shout out to you. I want to bet the Diamondbacks here, but had this at minus 130 had this at minus 130 plus 108. Now it's gone up. I'm a little worried, and truthfully, I don't know. I guess I just don't have a good feel on the Philadelphia Phillies. I'll be honest. I've asked people this frequently. I think I asked you this already. Who you would rather be for the rest of the season, the Phillies or the Mets?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question. I think from a gambling perspective, and you guys know I moved on the Phillies. Wow, that's a tough question. I want to say the Phillies, but I need to study it more. I don't want to sell low on the Mets, which is what we'd all been doing. That's wild.
It's tough. Obviously I've been asking people this. The Mets were like 1.5, 2 games better. And it's tough because, I don't know. It's just a tough situation there. You've got 2 of your big dog pitchers on both squads really not pitching well. I don't trust Nola. I still don't trust Wheeler. And it's just tough. So I've been passing on most Phillies games, to be honest. I just don't have a good feel on them.
I think not trusting Wheeler and Suarez moving forward is a mistake. We'll see. And I don't know what to do with Nola. So I don't know. But
yeah, Nola's been the most disappointing single player in my baseball season so far. He's a free agent next year. He's supposed to get fucking paid next year, and he's just shitting down his pants.
Roger, that's on Nola here. And Troy Torrance says when reverse line movement to the road team, the home team is a dog. The road team is 16-7 straight up. He's getting ready to bet the Phillies here. TJ says Phillies bet on for the next couple months. You guys know I moved on them in the futures market. I moved on them a while ago. I forget what I got offhand. It was like, it was too early, but now they're heating up. I'll pull it up. I'll pull up my action. I forget what I got offhand. All right, I'm off. I'm off that game. So at this point, I wanted to have afternoon action. I only have that first 3 for the A's, so it's not a lot of action.
I don't have anything else on my cards so far, so this should be an interesting rest of the day.
Well, I got lots, so we'll have lots to talk about. But let's review all action here for the afternoon. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today. Baltimore -1 at plus 108. Stacks play today. Orioles over 4.5. Team total at plus 100. Gamblers first glance is the Toronto Blue Jays, and Jose is on the Orioles. So that is I wish I could get involved in that game, but don't be a fan, be a gambler. But I would love to have something to make this game more exciting.
Yeah, hey, it turns out when you don't bet the Red Sox every day, your record goes up. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, no, I see you, man. Then Jose's on the A's first 5 and the first 5 plus a half. I'm on the A's first 3 and TJ's on the A's full game plus 1.5. So we all have that covered. All right. Let's move on. Top Crocodile says line is moving towards the Diamondbacks bet 365 in most spots.
I would love to see Mally Mal just watching the show on his lunch break and then you saying blood on my tits, Bouquett, and him just fucking dying. And then one of his coworkers just looking at him like, hey, what you laughing at? This guy's got blood on his tits. You can see it.
That's a beautiful story.
Thank you.
You can think these things too.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see that if that's really happening. I didn't have that.
Yeah, I had it. Like I said, I had the Phillies line last night at -130, now -140 on Bovada.
Yeah. I mean, at Pinnacle in the last 35 minutes, we've had a 2-cent move to Phillies. Okay. Let's roll on. We roll on. But Top Crocodile just watched a move from -135 to -130 for the Phillies. I feel you. Okay. Piker says Nolan a bad matchup here. Arizona huge value play. Okay. Let's roll on. Next up for us, 7:10 p.m. Eastern. Detroit Tigers 27-39, 12-21 on the road at the Minnesota Twins, 35-33, 20-14 at home. Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Look, I could have moved on the under, and now there's been a huge move on the under, and maybe it's because I lost so badly on the first 5 yesterday, and I was sort of a deer in the headlights in this spot. Let's start with the weather here in Minnesota. 75 Fahrenheit, 8 miles per hour in, down to 7.7 miles per hour. Ballpark Pal has this at minus 22% home runs and minus 10% runs. So they're not expecting a ton of offense in this spot. From a money line perspective, a 2-cent move to Minnesota. There had been a move to Minnesota, but at 11:15 a.m. there was a 12-cent move back to Detroit. So we have a 2-cent move to Minnesota on the side. Shout out to our guy Jonathan Yim. What a guy. Can't wait for football season. Jonathan back in action with us. Great to see you. $15 dono from our Jonathan Yim. Thank you, man. That means a ton to us.
15 loons.
Love our guy, Jonathan Yim. Rocco Rogers says he'll be on Sonny Gray over 6.5 Ks if the lineup comes out as projected. If it does, Sonny will go off, but need projected lineup in at least 6 righties. And Sean Pulliam shouting out our guy, Jonathan Yim, for the dono. Let's go back to the total. That's what I hadn't looked at yet. Let's go back to the total for this one. And there's been a big move. Now, not all books open this at 8.5. A lot of books open this at 8. So maybe I should take off that how big of a move it was. But this was tricky. This opened up at 8 at Pinnacle. And I was looking at it last night. It moves to 7.5. And it only lasts there for 10 minutes, though. It's right back at 8. And at 8, like minus 109 to the under, like not like minus 125 to the under. So then there's movement towards the under again. And at 9:51 a.m., it goes down to 7.5, which is where it is right now. So it's a half run move. So we have no move on the side and a half run move to the under. Mike M says it's Matty Boyd Day, Jimmy. Let's hammer him. I've got a problem. Oh, yes, Billy Friedrich. We're doing NFL contests again. We also will be announcing poker tournaments coming up. And we're going to decide how many of the top winners will get as part of their prize, not only the cash, but a free ticket into our Cappers contest in NFL. So, yes, another NFL contest for us. We're going to be all over it, and we're going to have poker tournaments that will offer a free entry for some.
Remember that one time I misclicked and didn't pick my 5th entry and lost over $1,000 because of it? God fucking damn it.
Yeah,
oh God.
Sadly, I do.
I fucking.
Hey, three, bro. So this is the
Sadly, I do.
I'm gonna cry thinking about it. Fuck me, that was so annoying.
Yeah, no, that was tough. Look, there was a few spots. I mean, there was a few spots in that contest that were tough to watch for different cappers, and we don't need to rehash them, but it was pretty cool that the winner of our first Cappers contest was Pistol Pete Loshak. All right, let's get back to Tigers, Twinkies. We know the weather is not expected. It's expected to be a defensive spot here. And look, I've got my own bullshit with Matthew Boyd, and I have to acknowledge it.
Is he on the opposite of the rotation?
No, I was a big fan of his coming up in the Jays system. And when we traded him to the Tigers, I was upset.
So he's your 6th man.
No, he's a bad pitcher. Look, I get
well,
it.
all the guys like your rotation are bad pitchers. That's the thing.
All right. 93% of the tickets are on the Minnesota Twins and 61% of the cash. Only 7% of tickets, 39% of cash are on the Tigers. And this is moving heavily towards the under. It's 50-50 on the tickets, but 82% cash on the under. That tells me that Matty Boyd's going to have a good start here. DT says Minnesota's terrible against lefties last 10 days. 206 average, 2.2 runs per 9.
Facts.
DJ $100,000 in the house. Great to see you, DJ 100 Grand. I used to do shows with my guy, DJ 100 Grand, back in Costa Rica. He's
Did
on
you call him DJ 100 grand every time or just DJ?
No, I always drop 100 grand.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
No, it's important info. Here we go. Matthew Boyd, 5.55 ERA, 1.35 whip, over 58 and a third. His last start at home versus Arizona wasn't good. Mike M says sharper cash is getting them Tigers. It's been ugly. On the road, though, he's been very good. Why? Why, Jose, would that be? 30 and 2/3. He's 3-0 with a 2.93 ERA. 36 strikeouts and 30 and 2/3. A 4 home runs, 184 opponent's batting average. Why would that be?
Who wants to pitch in Detroit?
Well, that's fair. Now, Sonny Gray's been spectacular at home. 42 innings, 1.71 ERA, 226 opponent's batting average. He's allowed 1 solitary home run in 42 innings. TJ says, does the double dip have anything to do with the move to the under? Expecting rest for Detroit starters? That is completely legit, valid idea. The Twins, since May 15th, are actually hitting okay versus lefties. Better than I thought. 246, 722 OPS. I'm down, DJ 100 grand. You're a great capper, man. Tigers versus Righties, 222, 671 OPS. Twins bullpen's been very good since May 15th, 2.95 ERA, 1.15 whip, while the Tigers bullpen's been, mediocre. 4.14 ERA, 1.37 whip. Meaty fucking ochre. Take it away, Jose Bouquett, Target Field, Tigers, Twinkies.
Yeah, I guess I'd lean under here too. And all I can think about when I think about the Twins is the elephant foot. The king, Mr. Elephant Man is now, as I refer to him now.
Yeah.
Carlos Correa, his biggest moment is Twins history so far. Walk-off home run. Shout out to him. We needed that one too.
He's got gout too. Do you know that?
I'm not surprised. He's probably got arthritis too.
Yeah.
That's, it happens to us all. I'm going to have arthritis in these fucking fingers. Can you imagine? My fingers are going to look like fucking Randy Moss's like broke-ass thumbs and hands. But I like the under here too. I'm not going to move on it. I saw it at 8 last night too. I'm just, I don't know. I just ultimately, I guess, not too trusting in Matt Boyd. I have a little bit of trust issues with him, and he's your guy, Jimmy, not mine. First 5 under 4 is appealing, -110, I will admit, and I will probably sit there and look at it as well, but ultimately nothing here for me right now.
Yeah. Why would this over 4 be juiced like that? -120. I got even money on the under 4, and this has moved to 7.5. Before I just stop with this baseball game, because I don't want Minnesota at this price under any circumstances. I would just like to look at the first 5 movement here, and then we can just move on here and just let this one go, because I've got action. But here we've had this first 5. Opened up at 4.5 at -120 to the under. So we knew that it was going to move to 4 at any minute. It moves to 4 at 9:40 p.m. and then right back to 4.5, where it stays for 2 hours. Since then, it went to 4 at -122 to the over. It's down to -117 to the over. God, I kind of like that first 5 under 4 too.
Yeah. That would be my play, gun to head.
Yeah. What is the first 3 under?
I'd like to also double check. I'm sure we don't have confirmed lineups here either. Not yet, obviously. I would love to see if the Elephant Man gets a day off here. Well, you never know. But under would be my play.
Yeah, no, I'm very interested in the first 5 under. I'm going to leave a couple question marks beside all the asterisks so I can think about it longer.
All I can think about is Carlos Correa just running around with one shoe that's just gigantic and him just limping around the bases now.
Yeah, he's got Ronald McDonald's.
Yeah, just one foot.
Let's move on. 7:20 p.m. Eastern, just one clown shoe on.
Mm-hmm.
Colorado Rockies, 29-41, 13-22 on the road at the Atlanta Braves, 42-26, 20-15 at home at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's start with the weather here in Atlanta. Hot Atlanta, 79 Fahrenheit, 8.5 miles per hour, right to left, slightly in, and then fully in at 4.9 miles per hour. So it dies off, and then it's fully in. There's also light rain in the middle of this ball game. Let's take a look at the what Ballpark Pal thinks about truest here, and they think it's going to be offensive. Plus 4% home runs, plus 5% runs, and plus 5% runs is the most offensive of any ballpark here today. Then let's take a look at the line history here for this spot. We have Freeland and the Rockies opening up at plus 217. This was 807 this morning. They're at plus 216 right now. No movement. Take a look at the total here. Got the first 5 up, so let me move it to full game. Here we go. The full game total in this spot opened up at 9 and is now at 9.5. It moved to 9.5 at 10:12 a.m. So it moved there. So look, the question here is, what do you expect from Smith Shawver? I mean, that's the key here. Do you see him as a top prospect? He wasn't. Now he was drafted out of high school, so he's 20 years old. I don't know. I mean, look, so far here in 7 2/3, he struck out 5. He's walked 3. He's only allowed 3 hits, and he did allow 2 runs, but none of them have been earned here. Is this kid an absolute ace coming up? I mean, that's where this cap has to come from. He's coming off that 3-2 win at home versus the Nationals, and he looked good. He handled, the error, and he handled everything fine. I think that because he is somewhat of an unknown, that there's value in the Colorado Rockies. And it's not like the Braves are absolutely destroying lefties. If you look at the numbers in the last month against lefties, they're absurd across the board. So 254, 775 OPS versus lefties. Rockies are hitting righties better than Braves are hitting lefties in the last month. Rockies are hitting them 284, 793 OPS. Freeland's coming off a spectacular start at home. He's not been very good on the road this year. 33 2/3, 8 home runs allowed, 268 opponents batting average. He's only struck out 13. But I moved on the Rockies first 3 at plus 195. I could not take them plus a half. When you make these bets, you have to have the big score as an opportunity. You just can't take them as a semi pick 'em. So I'm on the Rockies first 3. In this spot, you have 74% of tickets and 97% of cash on the over. So you could say the market thinks Colorado is vulnerable, but the reason why this hasn't moved is because 21% of the tickets are on Colorado and 86% of the cash. In all of my first 3 action, and there's another one coming up, all the big bets and sharp action are on the team I'm backing first 3. And maybe I'm being too cute with it. Take it away here, Jose, and we got our guy Good in the house. Take it away.
Shout out to you, Good. I struggled with this game, obviously. Smith Shawver is a question mark in and of itself. And just like the Rays, just like the Doyers, I trust the Braves with pitching pretty implicitly. So ultimately, I do expect this guy to have a decent start. But I just can't trust the Braves against lefties currently, which is shockingly enough their second best full season. But I looked last 2 weeks, I was like 48 plate appearances. So I was like, okay, that's a small sample size, whatever. I'll expand it out to the 28th of last month till today. 112 plate appearances, 66 weighted runs created plus against lefties for them. Pretty shockingly low for, again, the best team in baseball against lefties, basically. I expanded out another week. They're 24th, 80 weighted runs created plus, 136 plate appearances. So I don't know what it is. They're obviously seemingly struggling against lefties. Do I trust Freeland? No, not really, especially coming off of a good start, 1 run against the Padres. And there's supposed to be some weather in this game, allegedly. We've got, according to RotoWire, 82% rain. And, obviously your weather, whatever resource, it can be different. But allegedly this game is going to get a little wet and rainy here too. So I don't know. It's just a stay off game for me personally.
Mike M says that they finished last night. Colorado Boston finished around 11:30 at night. So these are two tired teams because you have, the double dip for the Braves, and you have, oh, sorry, that's a Colorado game. Sorry, but
yeah, they just still travel down after rain delay in Boston, travel down to Atlanta to play again the next day is tough.
Yeah, two tired teams. Rocco's favorite play today is Braves Rockies over 9. He's also on Acuna over 1.5 total bases and home run. Sean Murphy over 1.5 total bases and home run. Rocco says numbers telling me Freeland's going to get smoked. If that's the case, Rocco, wouldn't you see the line moving in the Braves? Wouldn't you expect to see the line moving in the Braves' direction?
First 5 under there for Noli, under 5. I like under 5 a lot, honestly. And actually, this total's gone up for me. I don't know about you, Jim. 9 last night, 9.5 now.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I don't know if you've already mentioned this, but all the money on the over. 74% of the tickets and 97% of the money on the over.
And I agree with TJ. Tired teams in NBA and NHL favor overs, and MLB it's under. I agree with all that. And I like Noli's move on the first 5 under and DJ 100 grand on the full game under. I get it all. For me, I just want to see if I can get on this kid, this 20-year-old kid. The Rockies are hitting well right now, and I'm just going to cut the game down to as short as possible, take this huge plus 195 opportunity for an enormous score, and that's that.
I like it. I'm on the first 5 under officially now. Under 5, I've got it at minus 110 for me. I agree with the tired take, essentially. And I don't know how true this is, but I'll say it anyways. I've heard from teams that, for example, like Kyle Freeland, he would not be in Boston yesterday. Teams typically, like if the starter for the next day they have to travel, they send the starter a day early so that he can like chill there and just be relaxed for the next day. So in an ideal world, Kyle Freeland has been in Atlanta already and didn't have to make that late night travel with the team. He's fresher and all. I would
expect that to have happened.
Yeah, that's so again, yeah, and I do too. So I again think this is a good spot for them. So I'm going to trust them, I guess. First 5.
Well, you have some options here, and the line you're getting is not good. You can have the first 5 under 5.5 at minus 120, or you could have the first 5 under 5 at plus 107. It's at plus most books.
Wow, that sucks. That sucks. I'm getting minus 110 on that. Jesus.
So you should wait.
I'll take the 5.5. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? Because it does seem like everyone's betting this over, like we mentioned.
FanDuel is giving it first 5 under 5.5 at minus 115. Imagine spending 5 cents more and getting an extra half run.
Yeah, so I'll take the 5.5 minus 115, I guess, right now. But if you're betting this, wait, because it seems like this line's going to keep going up and up and up. And again, this is, I guess it's sort of similar to the spot in Boston yesterday. A rainy, wet day. The wind's allegedly blowing out. I obviously don't believe in the Rockies offense. I didn't believe in them the whole series against the Red Sox when the Red Sox pitching staff has been really good right now. I think the Rockies can just make anyone look pretty good. So, I'm hoping AJ can have a good day here.
Let's roll on, my friend. But you are locked in. I'm staying off of the total, but I'm on the Rockies first 3 at plus 195. I just feel like from an implied probability standpoint, it's a great spot to be in, but we'll have to see. I could have got that plus a half at minus 105, and that doesn't interest me. Let's move on. Next up for us, 8:05 p.m. Eastern. This is just as fun as capping gets here, trying to decipher these Ohtani starts.
I would give up a testicle to be at this game.
Yeah, it'd be a really, really, really fun baseball game to be at. Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. I imagine that it's over 80 Fahrenheit in Texas.
Fucking sticky as fuck, I'll tell you that.
So if that's the case, then we know that the roof will be closed. Let's just get that confirmed here. 87, yes. First pitch, 87, so the roof will be closed. And this, come on. You see Shohei Ohtani go up against Nathan Eovaldi. I mean, you immediately think under. And this market's been wild, and we saw it with Castillo and Ohtani. We just it's just crazy to me that this is what we're dealing with now. We finally have had some books. Well, I mean, that's finally. I mean, the books have been bouncing back and forth from 8.5 and 8 the whole time. So this opened up at 6:12 p.m., 8.5 under -12. Who wouldn't bet that? Now, I know that my gut is got a negative ROI. So I just, but that's my first time. Who wouldn't want the under 8.5 -112? So at 6:53 p.m. it moves to 8, and then at 9:20 p.m. it's right back at 8.5. Then at 11:31 p.m. it moves to 8. At 2:04 a.m. it's right back to 8.5. Then at 3:14 a.m. the 8.5 is a pick'em. So at that point at 3:15 a.m., there's been a 5-cent move to the over. By 3:40 a.m., there's been an 8-cent move to the over. Then falls to 8. It lasts at 8 till 9 in the morning. 9 in the morning, we fire back up to 8.5. 10:05 back to 8. And you guys see the pattern here: 8.5, 8, 8.5, 8. Right now it's at 8.5, and there's been a 4-cent move to the under. I mean, that's just wild to me. Absolutely wild. TJ says Ohtani very concerning. Don't be surprised to see him skip the next start or two, and he already is on a 6-day rotation. The numbers indicate an issue, and he has spoke of fatigue. Only one way to look. Andrew G says Ohtani is tired and getting rocked. Still putting up numbers, though. Drip Skylark saying it's extra humid right now. Wine Time Sports is on the Rangers money line here. So, that's just absolutely wild. And then let's see what's going on here with the cash flow. I think that will help kind of illuminate the situation here. Texas opening up -120. They're now -122. So they get up to -133 at 9:52 a.m. and they've come back. At 11:36 a.m. it was right back to the opening line. So we've had no movement. We really actually pretty much had no movement on either. That's just crazy. So let's take a look at the cash flow and see why the hell that is. From the money lines, 50-50, and 72% of cash is on the Rangers. So I would like to see a move towards them. We saw a move, but it's come back. Then 65% of tickets, 61% cash is on the over. I think Mike M says this is a great Texas spot. He says, I'm eyeing the trend that has Texas in the 8-8 spot this season, but 398 to 259 over the past 5 seasons. So that trend should start to heat up. So Shohei Ohtani, last start, 3 earned runs at home versus the Mariners. He struggled to get through 5 walks. On the road, he's got a 4.22 ERA, but, and it's a big but, a 190 opponent's batting average. The problem is they barreled up on him a few times, 7 home runs in 32 innings. Nate Eovaldi also coming off getting touched at the Rays. We rare to see him get touched, but he's been unbelievable on the road, and he's not being great at home. I mean, take it away. He's been really good at home, but not as good as he's been on the road. At home, 3-1, 3.38 ERA. Look, these are great numbers. I don't know what I'm talking about. So, 33 strikeouts and 4 walks, only 3 homers allowed in 32 innings, opponents hitting 214. It's just that they're not as good. They pale in comparison to his road numbers. Angels versus righties, Rangers versus righties. They're both hitting him hard since May 15th. Angels 254, 786 OPS. Rangers 275, 813 OPS. Angels bullpen 3.04 ERA, 1.30 WHIP. And Rangers bullpen's been bad. 5.44 ERA, 1.25 WHIP, but they've been barreled up on. Kong's Clips liking Texas full game. DJ $100,000 on the over. And TJ says very low BABIP for Ohtani. More runs coming. Obviously that this is starting to make me want to bet the Rangers, but I don't understand why the market's not moving towards them. I maybe Jose can bring some clarity to the spot. Angels, Rangers, Jose, take it away.
Yeah, this has been, I think this is my favorite pitching matchup of the year so far. Not because of a gambling standpoint, unfortunately, just to watch. Shohei Ohtani, everyone knows that I have a man crush on him. I love him to death. And Nathan Eovaldi has been, or I guess was, my favorite Red Sox pitcher in the last, since John Lester. I love both of these guys to death. It hurts me a little bit. Nathan's not on the team anymore, obviously. But here's the thing. He's just been so fucking good. And he's going to be this good until he gets hurt, essentially. He's going to be this good until he finds some kind of speed bump. And I really think that the Rangers can end up winning this game. It's just, do you really want to go up against Shohei Ohtani? On the mound, he's been struggling. And that's what really is making me just like, do I really want to bet the over here? I'm in agreement with the chat. It's over or Rangers here, maybe both. I just don't know how I'm going to get there yet. By the way, shout out to the chat though. Fucking roasting my ass right now. I've got a big ass head, and someone, I think Andrew G pointed out that I'm the snapback on the very last little thing because I have a big ass fucking head. So shout out to you there, my man. I got a good chuckle of that. These are the second and third best team against righties in the last 2 weeks. I just really like this matchup, and I can't wait to watch it, honestly. So I will probably be passing on this game, but it's Rangers are over for me.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on this game. Maybe I'm making a mistake, not backing the Rangers here. Let's go over these starts. Maybe that will help before I just say I'm going to not move on it. I can understand the idea that Ohtani's vulnerable. I can get there.
Yeah, last 2 starts against the division mates too that both got touched up, and another one against the division mate here. So I'll be very interested.
Yeah, he's not been good on the road. I mean, look at those last 3 starts. He's been lit up on the road. I guess it's Noli, I was so excited about yesterday's pitching performance, and it in the Mariners game. It saved my night, and it was so much fun to watch. How good is Yuri Perez, man? I guess you guys are right here.
It'd be a great game to watch. Just tough to bet.
But I don't want to leave it to the bullpens, and I don't trust the Rangers bullpen. Mm-hmm. And so then I would have to bet at first 5. I'd be curious to see the market move on the first 5 here, and then we can move on. So just to go over it again here, we had a 2-cent move to the Texas Rangers. Just 2. And then first 5. I think everything is indicating that this should be moved on, but I would love to see a little bit of movement here. Why don't we go to they're not giving me Pinnacle's movement, so why don't we go to Bet Online. Bet Online has moved it 10 cents towards the Angels. 10 cents towards the Angels. Wow. Okay, I don't know, man. I'm not going to sit here and hum and haw, but I'll write Rangers first 5, and then I have a bunch of question marks there. And Jose is staying off. Let's move on to the next spot on the board, 8:05 p.m. Eastern. This reminds me a little bit of the game we just spoke of because, you look at the weather and it's, wind blowing in at 15 miles per hour throughout the game. And you think, God, this has got to go under. And they opened the line, really, really low. But I didn't think that the first 5, 3.5 was too low, and that was moving towards the over, and I wanted to bet it, but it's moving towards the over, and it certainly gave me pause. Let's discuss the spot: Pirates, Cubbies, Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois.
I'm glad you felt that way because this was a game that I also last night, not knowing the weather, said under in this game. So,
and then you see the weather and you're like, oh God, of course it's an under, but
yeah, that's why I was pissed when I woke up and I saw this total at a 7 because it wasn't out last night. Total at 7. I was like, fuck, how am I going to bet this under 7? But I still.
And it went to 6.5 quite quickly. I don't know if it's there right now. We'll go over that. But 15 points, getting stronger. I just refreshed. 15.8 miles per hour first pitch, 16.3 by the end of the game. And minus 27%. Let's refresh this. Minus 27% home runs. Let's see if this has changed at all as it's gotten.
It really feels like every time there's a Wrigley Field wind game like this, it always stays under too.
It does. No, I agree.
And the books just kind of look at you in the face and challenge you to bet the low numbers under, but you just kind of have to suck it up and do it. And that's why I think I'm probably going to end up doing it.
And Dommy says, love these moves towards the Angels. Might put more on the Rangers and the minus 132 I took. And Top Crocodile says the Rangers gone from minus 140 to minus 125. TJ says, I've this capped at minus 180. My model is not usually that far off. Not sure what's going on. You have Johan Oviedo going up against Marcus Stroman. Last start for Oviedo was good. 5-1 loss at home versus Mets, but he went 6 in the third, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks. He's been good this year. Maybe the K to walk ratio is not where he wants it at 63 and 34, but 5 home runs allowed in 71 in the third. He's been a little worse on the road. 4.60 ERA, 263 opponents batting average. Going up against Strosho, who's been so good this year. 2.42 ERA, 1.04 WHIP, 73 Ks, 31 walks, just 5 home runs allowed in 85 and 2/3. Coming off a nice start at the Giants, 6 and 2/3, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks, 4 walks. He's been very, very good at home. Listen to these numbers at home. So, 4 and 3, 2.15 ERA over 46 innings, but 42 strikeouts in the 46 with 13 walks. He's only allowed 4 home runs, and opponents are hitting 159 off him. The Pirates are hitting righties since May 15th, 260, 762 OPS. The Cubs are not, 209, 635 OPS, and both bullpens are bad, straight up bad. Danny Lopez with CONCACAF Nations League, El Clasico. Love it. Thank you, Danny. And Fernando Mendoza says was leaning towards the over. Saturated is on the Scrubbies -1.5 here. And let's pull it up here. Let's pull up the line history.
By the way, I don't know if you saw this, or I guess maybe it was in the last game too, but I had the Rangers at -136, and now it's down to -126.
It's just
that's surprising.
It's a confusing situation here.
Yeah, and I had that last night at -130, and then on the show it was -135, and now down. That's wild.
Wild market. I was very excited about capping this card. I find these games extremely interesting. This total opening up here at 8:38 a.m. at Pinnacle at 6.5, and it moved to 7 after 3 minutes, and then right back to 6.5. I thought all the books were all at 6.5 at one point. This was 6.5 until 10:03 a.m. when it got to 7, and it's just been moving towards the over. So I'm surprised at this. So this was 6.5 at -119 to the over. So it is a half run move to the over, but it's not really. I was only going to move on the first 5 under 3.5 anyways, but this move probably is going to keep me off of it. Let's take a look at the money line movement here for full game. Here we go. We have. Let's go over to Pinnacle. My fault. Here we go. We have Strosho opening up at -161. They're now -144. So a 17-cent move to the Pittsburgh Pirates, a slight move to the over. And TJ's right. TJ says, so the market says Stroman gets hit. Said, I don't know how, but that's what it's saying. If you consider the pit money, I agree completely. That's what it says. And that throws me for a loop. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this spot here. On the total, 62% of tickets, 64% of cash on the over. That surprises me. Then you have 30% of the tickets and 58% of cash on the Pirates. Sharp action on the Pirates. It all surprises me. Let's see if Jose can validate some of these market moves or just stay off. Let's see. Pirates, Cubs. Jose, take it away.
I don't know if you saw this, Jim, but Marcus Stroman officially on the market, trade market wise.
I saw that.
He tweeted out the Cubs won't engage in contract negotiations. So free agent not free agent, but you guys get it. What is going to happen here? So there's obviously two paths. There's the go out there, pitch really well for all 29 teams in baseball and show your shit there. Or the Corbin Burns piss and moan route. Oh, this team doesn't like me anymore, et cetera, et cetera. First of all, I'd just like to, give you this thought in the back of your head, a little Marcus Stroman Blue Jays reunion. A little Marcus Stroman Blue Jays reunion.
Oh, I would love that.
I know you would. So just put that in your tickler fire back there. He's going to be the most coveted arm in the trade market, probably him and Giolito if the White Sox go that way. Maybe Bieber too, obviously, but I still think first 5 under here, honestly. I think maybe this isn't an indication that Stroman pitches poorly. I think this just could be a low-scoring game. And when you're picking against, again, the first place ball club that's a plus 134 plus whatever you're getting, I think that's just great value. The same thing with the hitting numbers, echoing that last 2 weeks against righties, the Cubs are, while the Pirates are hitting them 12th, 114 weighted runs created plus. It made sense to me why everyone would be on the Pirates and the line's moving toward the Pirates. I still want to bet the under, though. I really do think that Stroman can still dominate. This just feels like a tailor-made under spot for me, honestly. The wind obviously is helpful. I wish this game, I honestly wish it wasn't as windy, so it could be like a 4.5. That'd be awesome. But I just think this is Marcus Stroman, a good pitcher that I think can hold down the other offense, and a good enough pitcher on the other side facing a shitty offense. Just seems like it's a good spot. So I'm still looking at that first 5 under 3.5 minus 110, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I just this is another spot where, like, you know, there's some books that are just heavy to the over on the first 5. I don't get it. This opened up at Pinnacle under 3.5 and minus 117 at 8:38 this morning, and now there's been an 8-cent move to the over. I'm fine.
I think that's partially, honestly, I don't know, this is obviously just bullshit psychology at this point, but I think people see that total being so low, and I think that people automatically check it, or not check it, bet it. And I don't think many people check the weather, I'll be honest. And I think that, obviously the sharp, good gamblers do, but I just really don't think that people do that often. So when they see a low total like this, I think it's just an auto bet over for many people. And Dabby Cab is one of the guys that he says if he sees a first 5 under 3.5 or whatever, he automatically bets the over because, like, oh, that's one swing away from going over. So,
I don't know. I don't really have a rebuttal to all of that. I'm going to stay off of this game, though. I'm with you. I don't want to, just guess what's going to happen in baseball, because I used to think when I first started doing this publicly that I was a really good baseball capper. I knew the sport so well, but as soon as I started letting the market moves correlate with what I thought was going to happen, then I start winning consistently. And then, so yes, my guess is that Stroman Oviedo pitched well and it goes under 3.5 first 5. But if the market's not going to it's not going to help me bet it, I'm just not going to bet it.
Yeah, I'd probably stay off too.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. I agree, TJ. I don't think that we can hang our hat with some cappers don't look at the weather comment.
No. Yeah, just bullshit psychology. I agree with you. So I'm off.
All right, same here. But the one thing that made a lot of sense, and I thought you were going to end up on, was that you were going to bet the Pirates. I thought that was going to be the end of it, and I was going to, and I get it. I would get that, but
yeah, no, I'm leaning that way too. I just it's a fear against Marcus Stroman, I guess, and again, the offenses here are just so different. The Cubs offense is just not hitting. So if I'm betting a side here, it's absolutely the Pirates. So I definitely have it written down, and I'll continue thinking about it. It's just Stroman worries me a little bit because I think he can go out there and pitch a little motivated to stick it to the Cubs and show everyone that he's really good and you should trade for him and extend him.
Well, I hope if you guys get a chance to listen to These Days, Mike Stud starring Marcus Stroman. It's a beautiful song. Great.
Yeah, no, you love Marcus Stroman. I fucking can't stand Marcus Stroman.
It's a great track. Great track.
Is it Dame Lillard-esque?
Oh, he's better than Dame.
Aaron Gordon-esque, perhaps.
Pop in the chat if you guys want to rock out to a little Stro show. Okay, let's move on. Next up for us, 8:10 p.m. Eastern, Washington Nationals 26-40, 14-19 on the road at the Houston Astros, 39-29, 20-14 at home. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. My need to bet Mackenzie Gore first 5s and first 3s is gone. Gone.
I wrote it down. 8 straight losses with him on the bump for the Nationals. Now, pretty shocking because of how good he was and how good I think he is.
3-5, 4.04 ERA, 1.39 WHIP, 83 Ks in 69 innings. I think he's going to be a really good pitcher, but I don't have any.
Maybe you should shift that to Josiah Gray.
Last start for Mackenzie Gore, 5 innings, 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and a 6-4 loss at the Braves. On the road, hitting .228 against them. 52 strikeouts in 39 innings. I kind of like him. Christian Javier didn't look good in his last start at Cleveland. At home, he's been very good. 33 2/3, 4-1, a 2.67 ERA, 32 strikeouts, 6 walks, and 3 homers. Nats have been hitting righties decent since May 15th, 258, 736 OPS. Astros versus righties since May 15th, 252, 767 OPS. Nats bullpen has been a train wreck since May 15th, 5.67 ERA, 1.55 whip. Astros bullpen 2.95 ERA, 1.36 whip. Let's take a look at the first off. We'll take a look. We know the roof will be closed at Minute Maid, so that takes care of that. Let's take a look at the line history here for the spot and then the cash flow. I've not moved on this one. This is not one of the first threes or first fives, and it's partially is taking it right in the goddamn drink hole with this action yesterday. It was a really frustrating spot yesterday. I don't know why I was so excited about it. That was the problem. It's just fucking not realistic expectations. We've had a monster market move to the Nats, huge.
Yeah, shocking, right?
21 cents. They've gone from plus 193 to plus 172. 24 cents for the Astros, minus 213 to minus 189. So we have a huge move to the Nationals. And TJ says there will never again be 2 gifts.
Fair enough.
But he was very close, and he's made a big bet on Houston first 5, minus a half, and minus 115, and full game minus 1 here. Joe Yerger says Nats 24-9 to the run line on the road. Robert Franklin moving on the Nats plus 1.5. And Tori Coker's on Washington Monline says they owe him from last night's bad call. It was a marginal but tough way to lose a game. So we have a big move towards the Washington Nationals. For the total here, it opened up at 8, minus 107 to the over, and at 3:11 a.m. it popped up to 8.5. It stayed there until 10:05 a.m. So right now we have a 2-cent move to the under, but we've seen it go up a half run. So that is all kind of tricky here. So cash flow, you have 84% of the tickets and 93% of the cash on the Houston Astros. Jesus. And a huge move to the Nats. I mean, God, is this going to make me bet the fucking Nats? God damn. I mean, well, why would the books just... Well, we know why. 61% of tickets, 63% cash on the under. Take it away, Jose. Look. TJ says, can you get closer at the line move? He has it at 10:45 at the same line as it is now.
Yeah, I had this as well, the line move too.
What? Have what?
I had this opening at minus 210, and now it's at minus 190, obviously, with all the money being on the Astros.
Okay. So what do you mean at 10:45? You mean 10:45 last night? What do you mean? What's the... If you can hit me up a little more. Nice job, Steve G. Nice job. Says the opening number was clearly wrong, but that corrected real quick. I don't think we can factor that in since it's been relatively steady. I don't know. I guess. I mean, even after the mark. So I don't know. It didn't move at Pinnacle until 10:42 p.m. So it took 4.5 hours for it to move 16 cents towards the Nationals. So let's just pull up Bet Online, because we know that Bet Online got in early, and see if that was just a line mistake for them. So why don't we do that? So Bet Online opened this up however much earlier. Opened this up 4 hours earlier, and they opened it up with Houston at minus 230. So that was a mistake. So So within 11 minutes they moved it 20 cents. But even since then, since that move, and there was no other move for over 8 hours, since then there's been a 22-cent move. Look, I mean, if TJ's that confident in the Astros, I'm not going to sit here and bet the Nats, but I don't know. Let's see what Jose has to say. Take it away, Jose. Washington, Houston.
Yeah, I'd lean Nats too, for the kind of the same reasons, Jim. The money tickets are all over the Astros here, and dropped the line, made it more appealing to bet them. I guess more appealing than it's plus 290 or plus 210, I should say. And it's just a weird line. This has been like minus 200, almost minus 300 every game this series. And now Christian Javier, who 7-1, you can make an argument it's the best pitcher on the staff, whatever. I think it's Framber, obviously, but you can make an argument. And now you're getting the cheapest line of the series. Maybe and again, like TJ mentioned, 0-8 last 8 games for Mackenzie Gore, 1-11. If I'm making a bet here, it's Nationals first 5, money line or plus a half, maybe both. But I just don't know if I'm going to get there yet. I really do not like going against the Astros, obviously. First five plus a half, plus 103. So it's not the best risk reward there. Like you would say, you would want a bigger payout for backing such a big dog there.
At least you're getting a plus.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't consider betting it if it wasn't a plus. But yeah, I definitely lean that way. It's just a big red flag again when you've got 92% of the money on one side here. And let me double check. Yeah, 92% of the money, 84% of tickets, and they've just dropped the line. As you would say, Jimmy, they're opening their arms, telling you to bet the Astros. So it's interesting.
Mike, I'm looking at the Tucker RBI. Is that the ribeye play of the day? Let us know. DC Capper says, how do you feel about the Pittsburgh over? They put up runs yesterday against Cubbies. I kind of like that over 7. I have a vividness bias of when it's 15 to 20 mile per hour winds coming in that no runs are scored, and it's a bias here. Top Set says my line's minus 200, so the minus 230 was way off, but at minus 190 may double up on the Astros and lay the wood. I'm going to let this go. When you have a colleague that you trust very much, and I feel that way with TJ, is so confident on one side, I'm just not going to choose here. If it's an iffy spot, I'm not going to choose to go against it. But certainly that would be where I would go. I would take but even the first 3 is like, it's just not quite enough of a risk reward for me. The first 3 here is at plus 145 for the Nats. I mean,
I might take the Nats, so we'll see.
All right. Okay. Much love, TJ. Got to run. Thank you for running with us, my friend.
Shout out to you, TJ.
Domi says, I think Gore gets touched. And Ty Clinton says he lives in Houston. The roof's always closed. That's right. Always closed. I just went over the last month, and it's been closed every game. Okay. Wow. So that is an off. I'm off there. Let's move on to a spot that I was late on, and it takes balls to make bets right away, to expect the line to move a certain way. I probably should have, because I think Ryan Weathers is trash. I didn't move right away, and I waited, and it, now I had to deal with like a huge market move towards the Guardians and a weak price. And that shit happens. I'm not proud of it, but it's just not going to happen, So let's break down the line history and the spot here for Guardians Padres. First, we'll start with, and I'm worried that I think that Weathers is actually better than I think he is, because I think he's so bad, and maybe he's not quite as bad as I think he is. 67 Fahrenheit, 8.2 miles per hour left to right. By the end of the game, it's slightly in. So let's get over to Ballpark Pal and see what they think of this spot at Petco. They don't think it's that bad. Plus 1% in homers, minus 5% in runs. So it's not that bad. I guess not too much of a marine layer here. We've had just an enormous move towards Logan Allen. A huge move. I mean, just monstrous. This opened up with the Padres minus 153. They're now minus 119. That's just huge. The Tribe have gone from plus 141 to plus 110. 31 cents for the Tribe there. That's just huge. And this total's gone from 8 to 8.5. So, there's expected volatility here. It moved to 8.5. It didn't move. This total at Pinnacle didn't move for 14 hours. It took 14 hours for there to be a move to the over. And it moved 8.5. Let's... the ribeye play today is Jose Ramirez at plus 145. Ribeye play of the day is in.
I'm going to tell my guy Mike M on that. I'm tired of sitting on the sidelines and watching him. So I'll make that official here as well. Shout out to you, Mike M. Let's cash.
Domigan Ricci took the Padres minus 132. Says favorite play, Allen is overvalued. See, I thought that I don't think Logan Allen is necessarily as good as the numbers indicate, and he just got lit up and smoked at home. I kind of like that, though. I do believe in him. I think that Weathers is trash. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I think he's a bad pitcher. I don't expect him to be in the rotation for very long. And so, and I kind of like, well, I tell you, I trust the Guardians brass whenever it's around pitchers. I just think that they're very, very skilled. And, Logan Allen, second round pick in 2020 out of FIU, 24 years old. I just think that he's a quality pitcher. This year, he had 3 starts in AAA, and he was unhittable. And, he allowed 2 earned runs in 14 and a third, and they brought him up to the show, and now he's coming off getting hurt. I like that he's coming off a bad start. I'm not sitting here saying, trust Logan Allen, believe in Logan Allen, anything like that. Beach Boss, I got Beach Boss on San Diego minus 120. I just think that Logan Allen gives the Guardians a huge advantage. No, a huge is wrong, but an advantage over Ryan Weathers. Ryan Weathers, his last start was in Colorado, and he looked good for 3 innings, and they still pulled him.
That has to be that has to be their thing. Limit the damage one time around the order, then you're pulled.
So, a lot of love from great cappers on the Padres here. Elio on them as well. So let me see if I can gain some more confidence from the cash flow. 45% of the tickets, 76% cash on the over, and it's moved to the over. Then we have 65% of the tickets and 82% of cash on the Guardians. It's moved briskly over there. So, I get it, Domi. I get it. And he finally got touched up. He finally got touched up in his last start. And the Padres are hitting lefties really hard right now. They've been hitting lefties really hard for last month. And I get it. Maybe this was a big mistake, but I like Logan Allen getting the wake-up call. The Astros gave him the wake-up call. And I want to fade Ryan Weathers every opportunity that I get. Now, I was way too late. I got the first 3 minus 105 and the first 5 at plus 105. I mean, it was almost to the point where I was like, maybe should I just not even bet it? And then, or should I not even have doubled up? I mean, it's still right there where I bet it. Take it away for us here, Jose Bouquett, Guardians, Padres.
Yeah, I'm going to double up on the overs here. I think both offenses are clicking finally. Shockingly enough, the Guardians' offense has got its shit together. I had to start as originally as Yu Darvish for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, Vitalis is telling us Weathers was supposed to start tomorrow against the Rays, but they moved him up.
There you go. So there you go. I had a cap for Yu Darvish, as you guys could tell there. But I just looked up the Guardians' numbers against lefties. Full season, obviously they're shit. 84 weighted runs created plus, third to last there. But since the 28th of last month, bigger sample size, so we can get a little bit more at bats. They're shockingly 8th, 124 weighted runs created plus, 138 plate appearances for them. You just mentioned what the Padres do to lefties. So I just took the over here. Over 8.5 minus 115. And I think I'm going to double up and take the first 5 over here as well. It's juiced. Over 4.5 at minus 122 at our friends at Bet Online. Shout out to them. Jimmy, I was looking through my notes or my stats, I should say, my record. And I recently, I've been channeling my inner Noli Nose. That's what I've been telling myself. I'm Noli Nose now. And I just bet unders. And it's been great. I looked up when's the last time I bet an under or an over, excuse me. June 6th is the last time I bet an over.
Wow.
The last time I cashed an over, June 1st.
Wow.
So, yeah, I've not been cashing overs at all recently. And I haven't been betting them. And shout out to Noli. Team total overs and stuff, I have not kind of just been talking full games over and first 5 overs. But yeah, I've just not been cashing and not been betting them. So this is going to be first one since then. And I'll double up here. Both offenses seeming like they're going to go here. I like Logan Allen too a lot, and I mentioned this the other day. Without Logan Allen, without Bybee, this Guardians team would not be in the mix, and they have been just solid this year. And we trust the Guardians with pitching implicitly, really. So I think Logan Allen could have a bounce back here. But the issue is that the Padres are so good. The Padres, at least, okay. Let's reframe that because they're obviously been the most disappointing in baseball. But they've been so good in the last couple of weeks against lefties. Second best, 149 weighted runs created plus, and 118 plate appearances. So yeah, I'm on the first 5 over.
Over 4.5 minus 119 was the best we could get you. Did you have better than that?
What'd you say, 119?
Yeah.
No, I got 122. So first 5 over there, and then full game I got minus 115.
We get you minus 108.
Cool.
All right. Let's roll on that.
Joe Ram RBI. I'm tailing Mike. I forgot about that. So shout out to Mike. 145 there.
I got Guardians first 3 and first 5. And again, I guess looking back at this, I would have cut the first 5 with my fear of the Padres bats versus lefties. But I would have kept the first 3 because I want to go head-to-head with Weathers.
Yeah, and by the way, I am a little worried about bullpens here. These are both very good bullpens.
Very good, yeah.
So the full game over, obviously, I like the first 5 slightly more, even though it's juiced. And, I never like taking juice. Last 2 weeks, 8th Cleveland's bullpen, 388 ERA, a 360 or 360 FIP. Padres right below them, 9th, 312 and a 471 FIP. So obviously maybe their bullpen regresses a little bit, but both these guys are still good. And I'm hoping that the offenses come through. So I would love to cash both here. That'd be great.
I look forward to it. I look forward to this game. And Joe Yurkovich on his very first 3 team total over of the year. It says DraftKings points bets are offering the first 3 team totals again. He's on the Guardians first 3 team total over a half at minus 175, and he doesn't mind the juice.
Wow.
Troy Torrance has to run. He's a big time analytics job. And thank you for running with us, Troy. While I know you're so busy, so thank you.
Shout out to the American.
Let's talk about the last spot on today's card, and this one's fascinating. I don't know exactly what to do with Michael Grove, but I feel like he's going to be okay here. I'm still interested in fading him first 5, but I think he's going to be okay enough for me to have moved on the first 5 under 5. So I moved on the first 5 under 5 at minus 115. Let's talk about this spot. Chicago White Sox at Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California. We have Cease going up against Michael Grove. We'll start with the line history here. There has been a move to the Chicago White Sox. Maybe very small move. This opened at 6:14 p.m. last night. There's been almost no movement. So the White Sox have gone from plus 130 to plus 126. So 4 cents of movement to the White Sox. So a small move over there. Let's take a look at the totals. And then I want to look at the first 5 total as well, because that's the one I've got it up actually. So the first 5 total, Pinnacle is now at minus 117 with it. They were at, I think they were like minus 118 or something like that when I bet it. So was that any movement? Sorry, let me just go back. Sorry. We have a huge move on this first 5. Sorry. This first 5 opened up at 6:14 yesterday, juiced to the over. So we've had a huge move to the under. I mean, right now it's 16 cents, but it was 19 cents. So a big move to the first 5 under. Let's go to the full game here. From a full game perspective, this opened up at 9 and it's dropped to 8.5. Now the 8.5 is juiced to the over. It dropped at 9:40 this morning to 8.5. So we have a move to the under and maybe a very slight move to the White Sox. 43% of the tickets, 49% of the cash is on the White Sox. And I guess that's why it's just such a slight move. From a total perspective, 42% of the tickets, 77% cash are on the under. Vital says this is all Dodgers. Dodgers are pissed off what happened last night. They should be pissed off. Says it seems like a 6-3 game. All Dodgers. I don't. You guys know I don't care what happened yesterday, and I try so hard not to. Sometimes I want to, and I just try not to. Domi Gunrichi was with that Padres team till over. Slow Jams is on Dodgers minus 1.5 plus 125. So Dylan Cease, 4.38 ERA, 1.34 WHIP. He was excellent at home in his last start. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 7 Ks, 2 walks. against the Marlins, who've been hitting. He's been really bad on the road this year. 38 strikeouts in 30 and a third, but a 5.34 ERA and 242 opponents batting average. He's only allowed 4 jacks in those 30 and a third, but he's been bad. I don't know what we're going to get with Michael Grove. He's coming off another start where he got touched up 4 runs in 4 innings. He's been better at home than he's been on the road. He's allowed 3 home runs in 14 and 2/3. He's been barreled up a few times. But listen, 17 strikeouts and 4 walks with a 157 opponent's batting average. I expect him to be good here. White Sox versus righties since May 15th, just 222, 655, and Dodgers 248, 752. And the White Sox bullpen. I mean, when have we ever said this? In the last month, the White Sox bullpen allows 3 runs less per 9 innings than the Dodgers bullpen. And that's just, I haven't said that about the Dodgers bullpen, I think, in the 6 years that we've been doing this publicly. Take it away, Jose. I'm on the first 5 under 5 minus 115. I would, if you don't mind, let me just quickly see if I can feel something decent about the spot, see if it's moved at 365.
Well, please do, because I'm on it with you.
It has not moved at 365. It's still right there. Take it away, my man.
Yeah, I'm on it with you. First 5 under here. 5. I've got it at minus 119 and our friends on Bet Online. Again, this is just a situation. White Sox offense is horrible. I think it's just bad. And Michael Grove is good enough, I think, to hold them down. And we've got a good offense on the other side that I think can be held down by a good pitcher in Dylan Cease. Even though, again, we can call the Dodgers a good offense, obviously. This month, 97 weighted runs created plus against righties, 17th best compared to their 4th full season, 113. So obviously not hitting them as well this month to start. So I like the first 5 under there pretty simply. I've got, like I said, minus 119. I believe in Cease. Michael Grove is, I don't know, he's fine. Shout out to the Dodgers fans we have in the chat. 4 earned runs against the New York Yankees last time out. It's just ultimately, I just trust the Dodgers pitching development enough. Shout out to Bobby Miller too. But yeah, first 5 under for me.
What are your expectations of Dylan Cease here? Because I'm interested in backing him either first 3 or first 5. He's had 2 straight good starts. The problem is they both came at home.
Dylan Cease has been kind of disappointing this year. I will admit.
Yeah.
I kind of expect better from him. I mean, he was everyone's dark horse to win the Cy Young last year. He didn't come through. He seems just like a popular pitcher for a lot of people in the betting community. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, I think he pitches well here. It's just I just don't trust the offense for the White Sox. Their offense full season 29th against righties, 80 weighted runs created plus. Full season this month 27th, 67 weighted runs created plus. It's just one of those things where I even though we got the other better pitcher on the other side, I'd lean Dodgers sidewise, but I still lean under. And Rocco watches the Dodgers frequently. He's a big Dodgers guy, and he says Grove is not great, but he's better than he has been. So it's a good sign.
Jesse Nunez on White Sox money line. I want White Sox. I want Cease against the Dodgers. No, I want Cease against Grove. But I don't know what appeals to me more from first 3 or first 5, because I kind of think that I should lean towards the first 5 because you want to have action when Grove is looking at these batters for a second. And, there's no way they're going to see him 3 times. So you want for sure to have action when they see him a second time. And so I guess the first 5 is a little bit more appealing than I guess. Top set liking full game. What do you find more appealing for the White Sox here, first 3 or first 5?
I first 5 just so you can get the second time around with Grove. Or actually, no, honestly, Piker's right. I think it's actually full game, to be honest. And Piker, you're 100% right. We just mentioned how shitty the Dodgers bullpen was 2 seconds ago.
But it balances with how good the offense is compared to the White Sox.
I still would rather have a full game because you never know with the bullpen roulette with these guys. I just don't trust it because Grove can go out there and pitches 5 innings shut, I think, pretty easily against a White Sox offense. And I think I'd rather just roll the bullpen roulette with the Dodgers, who's been horrible. And obviously the White Sox bullpen's not that good either. I don't trust them at all. No Liam Hendricks. Now he's on the IL. Yeah, I agree with Piker there. You're right. Just why not benefit from the pen is basically what he's saying.
I know that's and that's valid. But we've gone into our pen in the last couple games. So last night, last night, who did we go to? We had some studs out there, didn't we? We had God, it's my bad. Here, let me just get the box score. I know we used somebody here. We're gonna get into WNBA here in a second, but God, we used Middleton and Graveman. I mean, Dodgers used Gratterall and Gonzalez. I still fear the bats of the Dodgers enough to want to cut it down. I want my advantage to be Cease over Grove, rather than the White Sox bullpen over the Dodgers. Well, even though we know that's more. Maybe you guys are just right here.
Well, if it's still first 5 or first 3, I still pick first 5.
And then first 3 or full game, you'd pick full game?
Yeah. Just, again, I would maximize the at-bats. First time around in order is tough. Fucking the best first 3 pitcher in baseball probably is Tanner Houck. Tanner Houck's a fucking dog first 3, first time around the order. And then second time he starts getting touched up. And that's just seems kind of like a younger pitcher thing, It's you keep pitching. It's like one of those things. You got him out the first time using this. Why not again? I like more at bats ideally for a shitty offense.
I am now going to move on them first 5. I just don't feel like I don't want to double up now. If I bet first 5 under 5 and the first 5, and we're rolling in after the night games, or maybe the afternoon spot, and we're like, I'm doing really well, then I may move also on a full game. But I don't want to have too much invested here in a fade of the Dodgers at home, where they're not that dominant, 21-11 this year. All right, let's review all action. We have our guy, Billy Brisbane, ready to break down WNBA with us. So let's review all action. Gambler's first glance from razor sharp picks in a game starting in 9 minutes is the Toronto Blue Jays. Jose's on the Orioles. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play of the day is the Orioles, -1. Stacks play of the day is the Orioles, team total over 4.5. And I stayed away. Then we're all on the A's. Jose's on the A's first 5 and first 5 plus a half, +170 and +113 respectively. I'm on the A's first 3, +155. And TJ, the gift, is Oakland +1.5 at +115. Phillies, Arizona, we stayed off. I'm interested in this first 5 under 4 in Detroit, Minnesota. I'm on the Rockies first 3 at +195. Jose's on the first 5 under 5.5 -115. I have interest in Rangers first 5, but that's full of question marks. I'm going to take that off. There's been that big move back to the Angels, and I understand the Ohtani tax. God, it does make sense though, doesn't it?
It's going to be a fucking great game.
Okay, I'll keep it up there with the question marks. Look at it again. Creamy, welcome. Creamy, first 5 innings. It's first 5, and always feel comfortable to ask questions here. This is, we're all at different stages, and don't ever feel concerned there. First 5 innings is first 5.
Yeah, and then first 5 -0.5 means you have to win that by more than 1 run. So.
Pirates, Cubs, we stayed off. Nats, Astros, we stayed off. Jose is doubled up on the overs in Cleveland, San Diego, and I'm on Guardians first 3, first 5, and I'm a little nervous about it, in all honesty.
I'm going to add the Nationals first 5 plus a half.
Wow.
+103. I don't know if I have these other additions. I don't know if you got them all. I'm on the Braves first 5 under there too. I don't know if you got that.
Nats first 5 plus a half.
+103. Yeah, being a little safe.
Wow. No, I have nothing wrong with that if you got a plus line beside it. And then you said the Braves
first 5 under 5.5 -110.
Where is that Braves game? Here. What the hell's wrong with me? What time does that game pop off at?
It's an early game, right? It's after the Tigers Twins game.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, that's why I couldn't find it.
No worries.
Okay.
And by the way, sorry, I obviously said that incorrectly, Rocco and Joe.
Oh no, I have you first 5 under 5.5 -115.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So then I'm on the Guardians first 3, first 5, and Jose's on the first 5 under 5 with me. We're both on the same thing with the same number. First 5 under 5 minus 115 in Chicago, LA. I'm moving on the first 5 White Sox as well, and I have interest in the full game over the first 3, but I'm certainly not going to invest too much money on it. I don't want to. There you have it. Jose, continue your climb. We believe in you. It was great capping with you. I will be in touch, my friend. Do you have any last words for the cappers here supporting our show?
No, it's nice to see everyone as always. Shout out to you, Creamy, new name in the chat. I hope you stick around, my man or woman. Don't know. Shout out to you again, Beach Boss, DC, Joe, all you guys. Appreciate it as always. Dami, Andrew G mentioning my fucking fat ass head. Top set, all you guys. Rocco. You guys are great. Joe asking a good question. What am I getting you for Father's Day, Jimmy? What do you want for Father's Day, huh?
Well, that's a good question. God, I don't know.
Winning bets would be great.
Yeah, all I care is about my action, man. I just don't care about anything else.
I do have a question for you. I just reminded myself of this. So you understand this feeling. I watched this thing on the A's yesterday, and one of the guys that is like a broadcaster for the A's mentioned that seeing a kid wearing an A's hat in like 10 years is going to be like watching or seeing someone wear an Expos hat now. How does it make you feel when you see an Expos hat? Like, is it weird?
I'm sad. It sucks that baseball fell apart that year when we had the best team in the world. And
yep, shout out to Pedro.
It's sad. I'm sad when when a franchise loses its team, it's their fault. The fans didn't support it, and that stadium was just an atrocity, and so it's their fault. But it's just they were my favorite team growing up, and the Mariners. I wasn't even a Jays fan really. It's Mariners and Expos, mainly the Expos, and it's just sad. I'm sad when I see an Expos hat. What could have been, what should have been.
And the same thing's going to happen with Oakland hats now. So shout out to you guys again in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Billy's going to dominate the hardwood. One of the funniest lines of the year in the WNBA in that fucking Storm Vegas Aces game. So shout out to everyone in the chat, and I'll see you guys very soon.
There he is, Jose. Somebody wipe my goddamn tits, Bouquett. Let's get to work here in WNBA, and we bring in a ringer. South Jersey in the house. Please welcome Getting Bills, Billy Brisbane to the show. Brizzy, there we go. What's good, Brizzy? How are you, my man?
I'm doing good, man. Excited to get into the WNBA, man. It's going to be a fun one.
We have action coming in from our chat. Tori Coker on the Dream +8 and Seattle +18.5. We'll copy and paste that. Then we have Ron Walsek, who's an excellent WNBA capper, says, not that Tori Coker isn't, they're great cappers both, but Ron Walsek says, WNBA, Indiana fever to beat Chicago in a pick'em game. Sky best player may be out. Several key players are out. So let's copy and paste that. All right, let's get to work here. There will be no insights other than table setting from me. This will all be our guy, Brizzy. Let's get started. 7 p.m. Eastern, the Atlanta Dream, 3-5, 2-1 on the road at the Connecticut Sun, 8-2, 4-1 at home. We're at Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut, a place very near and dear to Brizzy's heart. Let's talk about the line history here. We'll go to Penny for these moves. Penny opened this up with Connecticut -7.5. The first move lasted a minute, and it was on Atlanta. This moved to 6.5 after 1 minute. 2 minutes later, back at 7.5. Back at 7.5, and it moves to 8 at 10:47 this morning. So we have a half-point move to Connecticut. From a total standpoint, we have this opening up at 163, it looks like. Let's just double-check if that was... no movement on the total. This opened up at 8:15 a.m. at 163. Maybe we should look at different books who would put out that line earlier, but a 5-cent move to the over. So a 5-cent move to the over, a half-point move to Connecticut. Here at the cash situation, we have 75% of the tickets, 93% of the cash on the Sun, only 993 tickets in. And that's on the spread, of course. For the total, 67% of tickets, and we don't have a cash flow on that either. And Billy Friedrich on White Sox first five. I love seeing that, Billy. I'm with you. Here we go. Atlanta snapped their 3-game losing streak with a big 86-79 win at New York on Tuesday night. The Suns come in with a rest advantage. They come in off their second straight win, 89-77 here, or not here, but against these Atlanta Dream, in Atlanta on Sunday. Take it away for us here, Brizzy. Dream, Sun.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. The dream travel to Mohegan Sun, like you were talking about earlier. I mean, man, I felt like I lived at Mohegan Sun for like a month and a half. But the Dream are going to be without Ari McDonald. She's going to be out again for the Dream with a shoulder injury. And they played 3 games without her. And while her numbers don't look that good, Atlanta's numbers won't look as good without her out. I mean, they rank dead last to assist to turnover ratio, but Connecticut's a better team on paper. They rank number 3, both offensive and defensive rating. But with them already beating the Dream earlier this year on the road, the public pick probably would be the Sun, but I think there's value in the Dream here. Coming off a road win versus the New York Liberty is really impressive. The Liberty are by far best team in the Eastern Conference. The Dream are 4-1 ATS in their last 5 road games, but 0-5 ATS in the last 5 meetings head-to-head versus the Sun, and I think that's the angle here. I think the Dream 0-5 ATS, last 5, Commissioner's Cup game on the road. Howard and Mayberry, the other girl that they have on their team, they've been kind of getting a little bit of chemistry together. I mean, and they haven't really been blown out this year. I mean, they've been covering the bigger spreads. It's a risky pick fading the Suns. They've been on an impressive start this year, but digging into some of their wins, they're not as impressive as their record. They beat the Aces. They played back-to-back games, and you know how that goes in the NBA. And stuff like that, especially in basketball. When 2 teams play back-to-back, especially you see it in college basketball too, usually they split one of the games. You get a better look at the team in the second game, and that's kind of what happened. They beat the Indiana Fever twice, a team I'm not really too high on, and the Mystic earlier this year, and they're probably the worst. And they also beat the Lynx. They're the worst team in the WNBA by far. So, I mean, they beat the Mystic early in the year when they were figuring out their rotation. So, I don't think the Connecticut Sun are as good as their record is. I'm on the Atlanta Dream here, plus 7.5.
Well, we can give you an 8 for our record-keeping purposes. And I didn't have time. I realized I was like, oh, shit, I should get your record popped up, but from the WNBA picks you've already given us throughout the year, so I'll have them up for us for the next time you join us, and thank you for joining us, my man. So we can give you an 8 here at minus 105 on the Dream. That's available right now at Pinnacle, plus 8 at minus 105. So let's lock you in there. So Brizzy is moving. Brizzy is on the Dream, plus 8. Minus 105, and we are locked in. Kenny Ken, what up? Yeah, it was a very, 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 very important. My futures were bad. We made a lot of money in that series. It was extremely important, extremely helpful. And it was as easy as any series that I really remember. I mean, there's only a few series that have been quite as easy. And I realized that the Capitals Vegas series in 2017 was closer to that easy, but this was very, very easy. Let's move on. 8 p.m. Eastern. Indiana Fever 3-6, 2-3 on the road at the Chicago Sky. 5-5, 2-2 at home at Wintrust Arena in Chicago, Illinois. Let's look at the line history here for this one. There has been a big move towards the Fever. This opened up at 3 here, and just like the last game, the first move was towards towards Chicago, and then it moved back to Indiana. So the first move, 2 minutes in, it moves a full point towards Chicago. 2 minutes later, it's back at 3, and then we have this constant move towards Indiana now at plus 1. So a big move towards Indiana. Let's take a look at the total here, if there's been any movement here on this total. This total opened up at a big move to the under. Wow. So some offshores opened this up at 160. Pinnacle opened it up at 159. Opened up at 159 and going all the way down to 156.5. So we have a 3-point move to the under and a 2-point move to the Fever. And let's see if the cash flow follows all of that. We have 54% of the tickets and 67% of the cash on the Sky. That's wild. Now, on the money line, it's a totally different situation.
Wild. That is wild, though.
Yeah.
When I looked at that this morning, I was thinking the same shit. I was like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, well, obviously the books are opening up their arms to Sky cash, and we already heard from Ron Walsack, to back the Fever. On the money line, it tells a different story. 39% of the tickets on the Fever and 69% of the cash. And maybe when the spread is this small, we should look at both. Then you have 65% of the tickets and 98% of the cash on the under. This is absolutely wild. Take it away for us here, Brizzy Fever. Oh, sorry. Indiana comes in off its second win in 3 games, an 87-66 beatdown of Washington on their home floor on Tuesday. Now they hit the road, and the Chicago Sky have a rest advantage. They come home after suffering 2 road losses. They fell 77-62 at Los Angeles on Friday before they lost 93-80 at Las Vegas on Sunday. Brizzy, Fever, Sky, take it away.
Yeah, this is a weird game for me to cap, to be honest, because the Sky are going to be down a lot of depth in this game. Copper is going to be out with a personal absence, and they're down a lot of depth. I mean, key reserves beginning of the season, Morgan Burchett, Rebecca Gardner, and then their center, Christine Egui, is away on international play. So, I mean, I would imagine they only have 10 active bodies, or 12 people on the roster, probably 12 to 15, and that's 4 people right there. I mean, the Sky do have the league best 7-2-1 ATS record. They beat the Fever in OT earlier this season, so I see why people are on the Fever. I mean, they've been a lot better of recent from their dog shit record last year. But holding hands with the public betting the Fever isn't my favorite thing to do, man. It just doesn't sound profitable. Basketball analysis will tell me that's a lot of offensive production that the Chicago Sky are going to be missing for this game, and this game goes under. The opening number, like you were talking about, opened up at 161.5, and it's moved steadily down to 157. The under is 12-5 in the Sky's last 17 games overall. And the Fever are 5-4 towards the over-under this year, so not the strongest of trends. But I like that more than backing the public with the Fever here. Yeah, the Fever have been a good ATS darling this year, but, I mean, now we're asking the Fever to win the game outright. I mean, the damn line is at +1.5 pick 'em. I mean, with inside a point or two, let's look at the Fever's money line record. And it's not that good as their spread record. And I just don't agree with this, man. I feel like a lot of times we see this in sports where the star player's out and random role players step up for the day and they win the game. And how many times have we seen this during the NBA season or in different sports that we cap? And it happened yesterday with the Sparks game. The LA Sparks were down 2 starters. They ended up blowing the other team out, and they covered the 5.5, and they win by 17 plus points. It happens all the time in sports. I think the under's the move here. A lot of offensive production is missing here from the Chicago Sky. I'm not too high on Indiana Fever. I get it. The Indiana Fever probably, if you look at anything recording for the WNBA today or information-wise or prediction-wise, probably going to tell you about the Indiana Fever money line. But I think it's still a dog shit basketball team. I'm not really too fooled by their record. I think this game's going to go under.
Under 157, is that official?
Yeah, under 157 minus 115.
I'll get you a minus 108 here for best line available for our record keeping purposes. Wow, it's a great breakdown. A great breakdown. And when you're missing star players, it was just ridiculous this year in the NBA. I mean, they seem to cash every time, but also the defensive intensity is raised, and so it's not just the missing the offensive, talent. It's also with raised defensive intensity. I'm just concerned that it's too big of a move now. It would be my only concern, but huge bets are being placed on this under. Brizzy on the under one.
When they're creating the lines for the WNBA, they're not accounting for certain injury news, and for somebody to be out on personal leave, that's not a regular injury that you're going to get on the injury report. And I think that's the result of the number. I think this number's off. I think this number should be around 155, 153. I would bet this down to 156.5. I think it's way off. I just don't. If you're down 4 players out of damn near your 8 to 9 rotational players, that's a lot of offensive production. I think they're going to have to slow the pace down for them to win this game.
It's a great breakdown. I have interest in that under. I'm not sure. I haven't made a WNBA bet yet this year. So
you might have to. It might be one of those sports, Jim, where you got to write it down a couple of times on a notebook paper and then make a move on it if you're hot.
Yeah. All right, let's roll on. This is the crazy spread that everybody's been talking about. Andrew G says, got to start live betting WNBA, the unders hit. Yeah, that's the only thing I used to do when I knew nothing about the actual players, was just blind bet the unders and scream and laugh at the bricks. That was a dick, and I would get kicked out of bars. Seattle Storm.
Even misses though in WNBA are like, whew, man. Like I feel like I'm watching a middle school basketball game.
2-6, the Seattle Storm. 1-1 on the road at Las Vegas Aces. 8-1, 3-0 at home. The Aces come in with a rest advantage. They bounce back from their first loss of the year, an ugly 94-77 loss at Connecticut last Thursday by beating Chicago 93-80 at home. On Sunday, Seattle comes in off snapping their 2-game losing streak with an 83-69 win at Phoenix on Tuesday night. This is a huge, huge spread. Let's get into this line history. First off, we'll start. Well, the total, I've got it up here, so why don't we just start with that? The total, this opened up at 168 at some books. It's now at 169. This opened up at 168.5 at 8:16 a.m. The first move is towards the under before it went up to the over. And we've been seeing that throughout these games at this point. From a spread perspective, this opened up at minus 16. Now at minus 18. There are 18.5s on the board. My bookies moved it to 19. So this is this has not moved at Pinnacle, though. At Pinnacle, this moved to minus 18 at 8:16 a.m. It's still right there. There's been a 3-cent move to Las Vegas. That's it. So there hasn't been a move at Pinnacle, but whoever got to this line first opened it up at 16. All right, so let's pull up the cash flow here. We have 71% of the tickets, 76% of cash on the Storm, but it seems like the market's not moving in that direction. You have 69% of tickets, 66% of cash on the under. Take it away for us here, Brizzy. Seattle Storm, Las Vegas Aces.
Yeah, the Aces are by far best team in the WNBA, but they're not the best covering team. I mean, they're only 1-4 ATS in their last 5 games overall, and the over has been 4-1 in their last 5 games. So somewhat complacent. They kind of go through the motions sometimes. I mean, and them going through the motions is them smoking these teams more times than not. I mean, the Storm are definitely a bottom feeder team in the WNBA, but they have a little bit of talent on that roster. They're very guard heavy, led by Lloyd, the Gold Mamba. She's probably one of the best scorers in the WNBA, honestly, in my opinion, that I've watched personally and bet on. But they're coming off a blowout win in Phoenix, which is really impressive with Brittany Griner, Diana Taurasi, and Sophie Cunningham. The Storm are 3-0-1 ATS in their last 4 road games, 5-1-1 ATS in their last 7 games overall. While they have no shot of beating the Aces, this is probably one of the widest spreads you're going to see in the WNBA this season. This shit's at 19.5, man. This should even went up even more. People are really going to the window and saying, give me the Las Vegas Aces minus 19.5. Like, that is wild. I mean, how pumped are the Aces really going to be to play the Seattle Storm? I mean, they won the first game of the season by 41 points, 105-64, and it was against the Seattle Storm in Seattle. So, like, I mean, maybe the 18.5 might be correct, man. I mean, maybe that's what people are looking at. I just don't think they're going to be motivated enough to repeat this performance. I mean, they're coming to a very easy stretch of their schedule. 4 out of their next 5 games are at home, and all 5 teams are bottom 10 in the WNBA. So if the Storm cover this spread, I swear to God, for the next couple of weeks, we won't be seeing 19.5 on the Las Vegas Aces. So I would probably line this somewhere in the 15.5 point range. So the 19.5 does stand out to me with the Storm. I just got to see how my early action goes. If I go 2-0 on the night or 1-1 on the night, yeah, I might be on the Seattle Storm plus 18.5. But pre-flop move, honestly, I think we get a bigger number here. Like this, at this rate, this shit's probably going to be somewhere in the 20s. So I'm just going to wait this out. This game doesn't start till 10 o'clock East Coast time. So unless there's a lot of line movement the other way, which I don't think there will be, more than likely, give me the points here with Seattle Storm. I think that's one of the better bets of the card today.
And if this is, if the Seattle Storm, after getting, embarrassed early in the year in this spot, fight back and play some defense, would you have any interest in the under 93.5 team total for the Aces?
By theory, basketball would tell me yes, but my actual, because I played a lot of WNBA DFS throughout the year, and the Seattle Storm are always on the slate. their pace of play is way too high for me to be betting the under on this game. Because who's to say the Aces just don't score at willing? The Aces have the highest expected field goal efficiency in the league, and the Seattle Storm have the worst defense efficiency in the league. So it's like that's yin and yang for and over. So I can't put my money on the under, but I don't blame you if you do. But it's just a weird game. I think the move would be the 19. How many times have you seen this in college basketball with like top 25 team in the country in the early season playing like Duke playing Duke playing like Louisville or something like that, or some dumb shit, and they end up covering the spread but get blown out by double digits? I mean, 20 points is a lot of fucking points in any basketball game, regardless if it's WNBA, high school, or college.
No, I feel you. I feel you. Great stuff. Great breakdowns. Let's review Brizzy's action here. He's on the Dream +8, -105. He's on the under 157 in Indiana, Chicago Sky, and Tori Coker liking Aces first half, but Storm to cover the full game. There is our first, actually not our first because Brizzy's rocked it with us a few times this year. But thank you, Brizzy, for making time for us here. I know you got your big podcast. Is that coming up next for you?
Yeah, UFC Vegas 75, Marvin Vittori, Jerry Cannonier. Make sure you guys download that on all streaming platforms. Probably tweet it out over there on Post Sports Radio. And should be a very interesting weekend. I mean, we got a lot of MMA events going off. We got CFFC happening down here in Atlantic City tomorrow night. We got the PFL happening over there in Atlanta. We got Bellator happening over there in Chicago. And then we have UFC Vegas 75 on Saturday. So, I mean, it's the best time of year to be an MMA fan. So make sure you follow me over there on Instagram, Billy Brisbane DFS, where we post the picks, and then over there on Twitter as well at Getting Bills, where I tweet out Pub Sports Radio. I mean, we had a good run last week on the prelims, 2-1 on the PFL card for the prelims, and then on the UFC card we went 2-1. One of the losses being a +650. So we've been hot with the Twitter picks. So make sure you give us a follow and check out the website Pub Sports Radio. Join the contest free, $100 if you can come in first place. Go straight to your PayPal. I mean, how much better does it get than that?
I love it, Brizzy. Thank you for making the time for us. There he is, Billy Brisbane, and our WNBA expert. Let's review all action here on the show. I'm all over this Stampeders Redblacks game. I'm on the dog. I think it's an overreaction on how bad Arbuckle was, even though I was the first, to say that he was just going to get lit up. But I'm on the Redblacks +6.5. I'm on the under 43.5, and I'm on the Stampeders team total under 25.5. That's juiced pretty heavy to the over. I rarely bet spots on team totals that are juiced heavily to the over, but here I will. I'm Mo Harris. I'll go over all action here. So I got 3 bets on tonight's CFL game. We'll break down all the rest of the games tomorrow off the top of the show. Viper MB is on Baltimore first 5 -0.5. They got up to that 1-0 lead, and that was a big out. That was a big out here. So 2 out now in the top of the second. Vipers also on Texas -1, and he's on the Tampa Bay Oakland under 9, and the Dodgers team total over 4.5. LJ from H-Town's on the Astros first 5, Cubs money line, the Dodgers run line. Clint Star, the Die Hard MMA podcast, gave us Marvin Vittori at -120. Then Carlos Garcia is on the Dodgers run line and the Guardians run line. Gambler's first glance is the Blue Jays. Jose's on the Orioles -125. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today's Baltimore -1 at +108. Sacks play today's the team total over 4.5 +100. Jose's on the A's first 5 +170, first 5 +half +113. I'm on the A's first 3 +155, and TJ's gift is the A's +1.5 +115. Phillies, Diamondbacks, we stayed off. I have to decide now whether I'm going to bet the first 5 under 4 in Detroit, Minnesota. I'm interested in it. I have to decide if I'm going to pull the trigger. The first 3 Rockies I've bet at +195. Jose's on the first 5 under 5.5 -115. I have some interest in the Rangers first 5, but I don't know if I pull the trigger. Pittsburgh, Chicago, I'm off. Jose's on the Nats, first 5 +0.5. I kind of like that look. Jose's on the first 5 over 4.5 and the full game over 8.5. I'm on the Guardians first 3 and first 5. Fading weathers. Hope that doesn't blow up my face. Don Place, says any unders you like? Yes, I'm on the White Sox, Dodgers, first 5 under 5 at -115. Jose's with me. I'm going to add the first 5. And I'll see how I am win-loss wise. But if I'm at a point, and I don't see how it's possible because I'll have the first 5 under 5 and the first 5 money line, so I'll be invested in the game. But if I'm having a huge night, I'll think about adding the full game. I'm not going to bet it now. I'm going to bet the first 5 now. There you go. And in WNBA, Tori Coker on the Dream +8, Seattle +8.5. Ron Walsick on Indiana Fever. Brizzy also on the Dream +8 and the under 157 in Fever Sky. That is our show. Billy Friedrich says, are we still betting Martin Drexler horses? I am not at this point. I stopped like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. He's not on a great run. I also, every single person up here is whispering that he's, juicing his horses. So I imagine that there's extra watch on him right now. But I have not. I've let that go. There won't be a Sunday Night Live this week. We're going to move it to Monday. So it'll be Monday Night Live. No Sunday Night Live. There'll be a Monday Night Live. And we have awesome action. We have Scherzer in Houston. So we have Mets, Astros. We also start with Jays, Marlins. And then we'll bet Mountaineer. We'll bet Assiniboia as well. Thank you guys so much. Go out there and get that cash. We have absolutely no show without you guys. Beach Boss on the Jays, the Rays, -1.5, Dodgers, and Padres. Real Deal Prime, Don Play, Andrew G, Steve G, Tori Coker, Billy Friedrich, JW, Mo Harris, Darren Turner, Rem Most. Thank you guys. The Nuke Worker. Wine Time Sports, Nasty Nate, Sharon, Pulliam, Ron Walsek, Mo Harris, Kenny Ken. Kenny Ken's got LA, Texas, first inning, Nerfy. Wash Redskin, Piker, Joe Yurkovich, Creamy Vuitton, Top Crocodile, Fopatashi, DC Capper, Rocco Rogers, Vitalis, Dommy Gun Ricci, Bankroll Spence, Carlos Garcia, Jesse Nunez, Top Set. Thank you all for supporting us. Brian Watson, thank you all. JT Eel, thank you. Now let's go out there and get that cash. Go out there and make them fucking money. Stakes are high, man. Let's go get it. Thank you to our producer, Jose Bouquett, and those bloody tits. Leche, los